Just waiting on the handsome part of the stream to come up. Come on. I can angle this down a little bit more. The downside of having only one webcam is that I have to move it between the for the games and the stuff. Yeah. Oh yeah, obs. Yep. Yeah, I saw it. Yeah. That's the neat part. You don't. So here's what I'm thinking. Oh, Thursday. Nice, nice. When I'm not here, okay, yeah, fine. Yeah, that sounds like a great idea, actually. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, we can't hear Why Breezy. Why can't we hear Why Breezy? Can you keep talking, Why Breezy? I know that's what you're good at.
The magical things about
Aha!
llamas in general. They're cool animals. They're pretty cool. Like I personally, they're cool. They're very fun animals. I wouldn't want them as pets, just because there's too much you have to take care of them too much. And like I'm more of a cat guy because like of that reason, low maintenance. And llamas would be too difficult.
Mm-hmm.
But
Right. I think we got it. What do you think? I almost said fire bladder. Fire blader. There we go. Okay, cool.
fire bladder.
Fire bladder. That sounds like a condition I get after Taco Bell.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah. That's a good night out at Taco Tuesdays.
Ah, Taco Tuesdays. Isn't that owned by LeBron?
Hmm?
Bad joke. Speaking of bad jokes, welcome to Lorcana After Dark. I am Knive.
Are we the bad joke? Is that what you're saying? Are you saying we're the bad jokes here? Wow.
Well, we aren't the good ones.
That's true. Those are the guys that are going to be in our show tonight.
Oh yeah, those guys are good. Wait,
they make the good jokes.
They
we
make
don't.
the good jokes. They get permission from Disney to make jokes.
We are not.
We are not given permission.
We are the opposite of that.
We're
like
protected
not
by fan content. This is fan content where we talk about Disney Lorcana and other things.
Like peanut butter.
Like peanut butter. Which has like 2 weeks left to live.
Rest in peace. Yeah, we were gonna talk about today's show is gonna be exciting. I'm all looking forward to
today's host is going to.
So here's the thing:
Hey,
you
me
invited them, so you have to just invite you. You plan this one now.
Oh shoot! Well, I can't communicate with them because I have the stream onto the Discord. So I'm
welcome to my world, brother.
So I'm in trouble.
It's okay. I can get them in. I just don't know when you want them in, because like
I told them to come in whenever.
Oh, okay.
So we might not see them until like 11.
Well, did you invite them to the chat though?
Yes, I invited them to the chat.
They're here. Okay, cool. That's the biggest thing.
They exist here somewhere.
They're here. They're here. It's a elite group of people in here.
It's an elite group of people, and we added 2 OGs to it tonight. We should be expecting BSquared from BSquared24. And we should also be expecting Liam, possibly Aaron from the Illumiteers.
That's pretty cool.
I've been acquaintances with these guys for almost 2 years now. That's crazy.
2 years?
Almost 2 years, man. 2 years this August was when us 3, 4 were some of the few to start this whole chaotic thing for the content creators.
True, that's true. Y'all did it, and then people like us joined. Yeah, we're like, there's like a second generation of like content creators that I think showed up after the game released.
Yeah,
because
We were the guys that had 6 months of nothing to talk about. It was great.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot. I think there's a lot of like content creators and like people that are trying to make content creators in that like year.
Mm-hmm.
Even after I got in, that I don't see anymore. So shout out to those. Shout out to the ones that stuck around. You know, it's an exhausting thing. So
It's
shout out to them.
so exhausting, and I like rarely do it.
Hey, you do it twice a week now.
I do it twice a week now.
And people actually tune in and like actually chat with us. It's pretty.
I got to cast.
You did get to cast
on a peanut butter tournament. Got to do a cast for that with Wonderland.
Wonder how? Wait, actually, how was that?
It was really fun.
I came in and out, but I saw the eyes on it, and it was big attracted. It was a big show. I mean, not show, but big casting.
There was a lot of eyes there, yeah. I did not watch the stream. I didn't want to know how many eyes were looking at this. We'll say 3 out of 10, but like, yeah, no, it was
pretty big deal. I mean, it deserved that farewell. I think though, like,
oh yeah, it was very much a good farewell to peanut butter.
Peanut butter deserved it.
And I have gained so much clout from like the middle schoolers that I look over, like.
Let's go.
Because I get to say that I worked with Tia.
Oh yeah, the kids will go crazy.
Kids go crazy over that kind of stuff. So like,
that's true. That's cute. That's really cute though. That's super cool.
So Tia, thank you so much for that. They actually
not that she's watching, but
not that she's watching, but you know,
they actually listen to me now. They actually pay attention to you now. Great. It's like, oh my god, you work with her. Crazy. That's so funny. That is so funny.
Oh man.
I believe she's gonna be in Chicago, by the way.
She is. I plan on getting as many stickers as possible.
Nice.
Speaking of stickers, I need to talk to Mrs. Marbles about making stickers for moi.
Yes, you need to make stickers. You gotta give out your stickers. Be like, this is marble. I would assume you're gonna do marbles ones, right?
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely.
Hell yeah, that's such a good idea. All right, let's do this.
Get those stretches in.
YouTube gets to see the stretches.
Oh yeah, YouTube gets to see the stretches and the hype up. Oh my gosh.
Be bump it up. It's not like. It's not an act. It's just you know.
Yeah. You gotta get the juices flowing, you know? It's like it's like an engine doesn't fake being powerful, but it does still have to warm up.
It does have to warm up, and like.
Yeah. I got you.
All right. I wonder what other people do for their fun stuff, but let me tune this out. And 3, 2, 1. Ah! All right. Just gotta throw you off every once in a while, dude. It can't be that easy, you know. You can't just expect every single move. That's too easy. But ladies and gentlemen, ladies and lads, another episode of Lorcana After Dark. I am one half of Lorcana After Dark, yours truly, Y Breezy, and today and always I have the honor to host this beautiful show with the one and only, the genius himself,
Knight from Knives Nerd Corner. How's it going, y'all?
Oh, and welcome to another episode of this crazy show. We have some guests tonight, dude. Wow, like chills every time. These guys are the reason why this show exists.
Ooh.
And like, I mean, we were just talking about it just a couple of minutes ago. Like, I feel like I'm the second generation of the content creation.
Yeah.
Where it's like we joined and y'all were already in the space, and I just said, "Hi, I like Cusco," and then you know, there's like other people that did it as well. That stuck around. Like Goons was around the same time as me. Villains was doing his own thing already, but he's starting up. So like we're the second generation, I think. But
yeah,
like people like them were the reason why this exists, and I'm really excited to talk to them. See what they think about this new meta. I already listened to them yesterday already, but
I did not have the honor to do that. I was too busy figuring out what they're going to talk about in Chicago.
Yeah, you know, it's no big deal. You know, these guys are just not only, you know, they're one of the coolest content creators. They just happen to be one of the biggest names in the entire Lorcana space. No big deal.
No big deal.
They also, you know, happen to be the casters of the first official NA DLC.
NA DLC, Nadal.
Nadolk, yeah.
Nadolk.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
This means that they have the verification from Disney, from the Walt Disney Company. These guys are certified okay to represent the brand.
They're Disney princesses.
They are Disney kings. Let's be honest.
They are Disney kings. Well, I mean, one of them wears a crown. So
yeah,
one of them has a crown that he wears. That. Oh wait, hold on. Shoot! Why did we? Damn it!
Someone forgot their bucket hat, huh?
I did forget my bucket hat. That's a problem. That's a problem.
How embarrassing!
That is embarrassing. Oh, that is. I thought it was here, and it wasn't. So, we got to figure that one out. All
right, I'm gonna message them real quick.
But anyway, so no big deal. It just happened to be to the people that are like absolutely amazing human beings. A Glimmer Gauntlet winner is gonna join us as well. By the way, the only. I have a bucket. I'm not wearing an actual bucket as a hat, Lorcana Bell. Also, shout out to the Lorcana Bell, by the way. Look at the llama.
Oh, nice. Hey, I'm gonna be getting mine.
I saw.
Probably after Chicago. Shout out Lorcana Bell. Oh, hello.
Well, see.
Gosh, look at that logo. Look at that.
That logo is so official. Like,
so
it looks
pretty.
like an app. I like every time I see it, it's like, okay, they mean real business out here. They are.
Like,
I love it.
That's
it's so simple.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so good.
It's Internet Browser's logo in like 2300. Yo, they're both here.
Yo.
I get the joke now.
Excuse me,
it's dark.
This is Lorcana in the dark, correct?
I get it. I understand. I get the joke.
I can't turn that one off without doing a bunch of things, but yeah.
Oh, this is awesome.
I love this.
This is the best way. They get the assignment.
Oh, Breezy, can't hear you. Oh no.
We absolutely can't.
Oh gosh. Yes, we can hear you, but
okay, we can't hear Breezy.
What?
We're
can't
doing
hear you,
Lorcana in the dark tonight, right?
They can't hear me?
Yeah, they can't hear you.
I can't hear them.
No.
You can't hear them.
I hear you, Breezy.
Yeah.
Wait. I'm gonna get. I swear we're
why?
unmute. Hold on.
It's time for me to be a glorified translator. Let's go. Okay.
Knife, hold it down.
There we go.
Okay,
I think we got him.
So-
I got him. Yes, Breezy.
Wow.
Hello.
Wow, this is amazing. Okay. Wow. This is actually happening. This is crazy. This is insane. They're in dark because it's Lorcana After Dark.
That's brilliant.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the honor, the pleasure to have the Illumiteers on our show. This is crazy. This is amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, the Illumiteers.
Only 2/3 of them, though.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yes, only 2/3.
Only
The other
2/3.
third is asleep.
And
Should be.
justifiably
It's too
so.
late.
Yes.
Too late. But wow. How are you guys doing, man? How?
Good. I have to turn on the rest of our lights now. This is a
Oh.
complicated process. 1 second.
The dark was cool. We like the dark.
We are thrilled to be here.
This is
This is our first
crazy.
time. This is our first time, and super excited.
It's I'm so. This is crazy. Like, oh my god. Like, wow. The reason why this place exists is because of you guys. Like, this doesn't happen without your show existing, which I will get into because this is a first-time guest. So I would like to ask this question because I had a thing. I forgot about it, but I got to bring it back. I mean, everyone knows you guys, but kind of want to get to know the story. I know it's like a year now, almost 2-year journey now, which is crazy. But I asked this question, set of three questions to everyone. That kind of, how we got here. What Lorcana, why Lorcana, and how Lorcana. Go.
What Lorcana, why Lorcana, and how
Just
Lorcana?
give me
tell
why.
our story.
Oh, okay.
You tell our story.
So we gosh, I feel like you tell it more often than I do, so I'm really bad at it. So yeah, long time ago, D23.
Long time ago.
2022.
I can still remember it.
D23, 2022. Liam came home from work and he's like, Aaron, they just announced this new TCG that's like Disney but magic, like magic but Disney. And I was like, oh, that's super cool. And he's like, yeah. So at the time I had really wanted to like start vlogging about, I don't know, stuff. And Liam was like, let's start a YouTube channel. And I was like, sure, why not? That sounds like fun. And we went to Office Max and we bought this ring light that we still use.
Nice.
And set it up in our office and filmed our first video, which was top 10 pirates we wanted to see in Lorcana.
Yes, true.
Yes,
yes.
I remember that one.
It was awful.
It was
It wasn't awful. It was
good.
just
It
we were
was
little
good.
baby content.
That's how it
creators.
works.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And 18 months and like 4 logos later, here we are.
It's true.
Or logo.
Yeah.
Now you guys have like the most official looking logo out there, but like it's just such an app, like an official. It feels like an app, and I really enjoy. It's like simple, but you know exactly what it is every time. When I see that eye, I know exactly what's happening. You know, it's just super cool. Super cool.
You know what's funny about the eye? Like we made like a logo, like an Illumiteers thing,
Yeah.
and then I went to put it on YouTube, and it asked me for another picture, like for the circle, and I was like, I hadn't thought like I needed a circle picture too, and so I just grabbed a letter. I'm like, you know what? Just for now, just so we can get the channel up, I'll
Put an eye.
I'll just put an eye. I'll take an eye from the logo and I'll put it in. That'll work, and we'll go back and change
then
it later.
For the longest time, we were like, we're gonna get rid of this. Like, this is not a great icon. And then we finally worked with a graphic designer like a year ago, and she was like, "No, this is great."
You're like,
So
oh, okay.
The eye's sticking around, I guess.
Yep.
Excellent. Everyone knows what it is.
We tried the
y'all
T. We tried like a castle, and it's just the eye.
Yep.
The eye
eye.
is perfect.
I mean, it's perfect, and it's it is connected with you forever now.
I guess so. Yeah.
For like April Fools, y'all gotta get like the Eye of Fates eye in there. Just change the eye every
Ooh,
once in a
yeah.
while, you know.
Okay. We'll put like a Julia Reaver with her radish. One of the magic.
like the
One of the
radish.
magic. Oh my gosh! One of the Lorcana artists is like known for her like little icon is like a little radish,
Mhm.
and every holiday she like dresses the radish up in different like outfits.
Dress the
Oh, that's
eye.
And
brilliant.
so we need to do that with the eye. Maybe put like
Yeah.
a little hat on it or something.
But yeah.
It's crazy.
So
crazy.
yeah, year and a
Wow.
half later. I didn't tell the story.
Yeah, no, I think you told it just fine. And here we are doing stuff and on your show, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Like
The fact that y'all are here is crazy. Like this is an honor. I am fanboying a little bit. You know, this is in like again. I mean this. Y'all are the reason why this place exists. This little crazy show exists.
I mean, out of curiosity, what's the story there? Like, why?
Oh yeah. I
Why,
can break it down.
whoa, why breezy? Who Lorcana? Why Lorcana?
Oh
What
yeah,
Lorcana?
sure.
Yeah.
Hi guys.
Yeah, there you go.
It's an honor to be Lorcana After Dark. This show is kind of cool, I guess. But yeah, no. To make this happen, I used to stream the game, but there came to a point where I was like, I'm not the best at this game because like people like R&B is playing the game. Our lab team is doing the streaming, which is like, you know, they're good at the game. They play this for hours, and that's something that I just couldn't do. And I think what I had to offer to the community was just more just yapping and more just good vibes.
Yeah.
So alongside with the fact that, you know, the shout out to Peanut Butter for the long run, that also wasn't the best thing to do if I wanted to continue moving forward with this content creation space. So those two were the factors why I was like, I want to talk about this game. I love this game. This game is just something that brings me so much joy, and I'm just excited about a lot of things about this game, which there's some things that we don't really like right now, which we'll get into as well. Shout out to the squirrel himself. But yeah, that was kind of the reason. And like my inspiration of this show, even the logo is kind of homage to the Pat McAfee show, which I'm a big sports guy.
Yes.
The-
Okay, that's what it was. I'm like,
So like I wanted to take that idea of just to hang out, but like actually talk about things that are kind of important to the topic that we're in, and here we are.
I love it. Breezy, I
That's
think
why-
you're like in such an amazing space for like who you are as a person, because you just bring like so much joy and
So much
like
passion.
positivity and like light to the Lorcana community. Your show is just like such a joy to watch, and always like makes me happy after we
like,
watch it.
those are the ideas, like the messaging that you guys bring out is that like highlighting the positivity, the nice, the just highlighting everything that's not like, you know, the meta talk or just different things that just makes this game amazing rather than just like, oh, this card is the best, this card is bad. It's just there's so much more to it. Like you guys highlight a lot of the artists, which I love. You guys talk about that, and that's like the extra things that makes this game so magical. And I thought I just want to highlight all the positive and everything that just like, look how awesome this thing is, and we should be always excited to just play this game because we have the honor, and you know, some people like you have the honor to cast it too. So like, congratulations to all that gigs, by the way. First time Lorecast, by the way, the first ever Lorecast guest. No big deal, no big deal.
Oh wait, that's us. Wait, no. I was like proud of him for like.
No, you guys.
Lorecast was fun.
This is all
amazing.
I never got to kind of get the information of that. How was that, Mike? That's like like low key one of the craziest things to just kind of show up out of nowhere.
Like no lie, I saw you two on, and I took a lap around my apartment.
I screamed.
I was just so hyped
because y'all were so sneaky. Y'all didn't say a word.
No.
Yeah.
No, we had to keep it under wraps.
It was it was a surreal experience. But it was really great too because we used to live in the Seattle area. So not only did we get to have that like really incredible experience, but we got to see a lot of like friends and you know, chosen family up there. But it was and it took a lot of them to pull off like us being able to go. We had a friend drive like 2 or 3 hours round trip to come and watch our daughter while we were on Lorecast. And but it was so surreal. I think we were just like pinching ourselves the entire like flight up there, day of. It was just nuts.
Cool.
No, it was a treat. I mean, obviously it was cool, but a lot of pressure though. Like we kept it under wraps, and we were very cognizant of the fact that we were being trusted in two ways. One, I felt, you know, a burden to represent the community and to ask the questions that the community would ask and to be representatives of, you know, the greater Lorcana community. And then two, you know, there's a lot of trust on Ravensburger's part to put us on a live stream and you know,
and the first time.
And
huge.
So but it was great, and it was wonderful to watch the team work and to meet the people, you know, in person who brought the whole thing together. It was great. I have one regret, and that is not having the entire team sign the Trove box that we opened on stream as like a piece of history. Like
that was so cool.
Yeah, I gotta, you know,
Yeah,
gotta do that sometime.
Next time you do Lorcana.
I mean, next time it's gonna be what? When are y'all doing? Wait, hold on. Actually, what's the Chicago situation look like? Are we allowed to dig in, or what's the?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah.
What are we?
I was gonna say we know the situation for Chicago.
Well, like, what are we doing? Do we know? What are we doing in Chi-Town?
You're gonna have I think everybody's said that they're involved.
Yes. Everyone else has.
Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna have the same casting team. We've kind of rotated some folks. So some are who are remote are now in person, and some who are in person are remote. So I'm gonna be casting from here. This very chair, in fact.
That's nice.
With a green screen back here.
Yep.
Oh, the green screen.
Yeah, you know you're official when you get a green screen. Like that's when you like feel like a real.
We acquired one for the Hercules project, and
that's true.
Oh, the Hercules project. I love that one.
Hercules. And then I'll be doing it remote. I have a lot of studying to do. I knew the set 3 meta like intimately, and set 4 I'm a little bit fuzzy on. So I got so much studying to do this week. I've got some calls with some players who are gonna make me smart.
That's the key. That's exactly why that's exactly why you bring people in like you did yesterday with Zan. Just showing they're just big brains. Like that's just how it works. But also,
they taught
real
me
quick,
so much yesterday.
R&B, thank you for the 40 rate of 43 people. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness. Hello, R&B. Top, no big deal.
A scholar and a gentleman.
He's a beautiful man.
I love R&B so much.
I do.
Can we shout out R&B on your channel? Are we allowed to do that?
Yeah, he's been on the show, man. He just shows up every once in a while too.
Hey,
R&B, no big deal. Top 8 Atlanta, no big deal. No big deal.
Yep. No big deal.
Lost to your guest yesterday, but it's fine.
Yeah. Well, and beat some of our other guests.
Yeah, that's
Aaron,
true.
his teammate.
There he is.
Look, there he is.
Of the devil.
Oh wait.
Look at him.
And up he pops.
He pops up.
Okay, speaking of somebody I fangirled over when I first met, like on our show.
Yeah.
Because I used to watch R&B stream, and so he came on our show, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, it's you!"
He's just
so like I'm like Candyman. You say my name 3 times, and I'm gonna show up.
I thought it was.
That's what I was going for. That's what I was going for.
Now, I just wanted to pop. I know I'm not gonna steal any of you guys' thunder. I just wanted to stop in and say hello, Liam. you're looking lovely today.
Thank
Your
you.
wife is also looking marvelous. You are incredible, incredible people in this community, and I love you guys. And Breezy, Knife, you guys know I got all the love in the world for you.
Oh, thank you.
The raid, I appreciate it. I love you. How was stream, by the way,
course,
real
brother.
quick?
If I was a better K-pop fan, I could do finger hearts.
I think you have
We
it
were-
backwards this way.
We were
Oh.
playing
You
some
gotta hold it like that,
spice
yep.
today, bro.
Spice? You're playing Spice?
We were playing some spice.
Oh, how
I
much
saw some
spice?
Emerald Amethyst though. How did that go?
Yeah, that's what the spice was.
What's-
Go on.
what's
Well,
the
so,
spice
so
here?
so somebody that loves playing Emerald Amethyst is right here. That's
I'm
why I
sorry.
asked this question.
I'm
Because
sorry.
I saw.
I'm sorry. What now?
Yes.
Yeah, and I named the deck. Artifact says it's dead.
But it ain't. It ain't dead.
It ain't dead. Holy!
I don't think it's dead
oh
either.
my
It was
God.
in the final of the
Wonderland,
two largest
six-
tournaments last
5
weekend.
Sabarunis. Whoa! Hold
You
on,
needed-
Wonderland. What are you doing? I'm supposed to do that to you.
Whoa!
What are
What
you
the what?
What are we doing, dude? Thank you so much. Holy.
Wonderland giving away 5 tier 1 subs. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate y'all like
Yee.
crazy. Sorry, I had to.
Labyrinth rolling deep.
Yo,
Labyrinth
Lab
is
is lad.
huge.
Let's go.
We're besties.
Yeah, we just love the community. We're gonna continue to make it thrive. I'm looking forward to Pixelborn Connect. I need to get some more like stuff to like set up like the overhead, the dung dung. I'm gonna get
Yeah,
all that
yeah.
stuff, and I'm not going anywhere. I'm
Hell
gonna keep
yeah!
making
You better
content.
not. We love you.
No,
Everyone
I'm
loves
gonna
you.
keep- I'm gonna keep making content. I know I was a little bit sad with like the news about peanut butter, but like, what are you gonna do? Like, we're gonna trudge through it. I've never
Hell
played
yeah.
any type of like tabletop, like spell table type
Mhm.
things before, so like it's gonna be a learning experience for me.
Tip number 1: record everything.
Oh yeah. I mean, I already do record everything with OBS anyways.
yeah.
So
Just
You know,
I'll just have to.
You all are so
You're
much
gonna be-
more techie than me.
so
No,
what
I'm
now?
I promise you, I am the least tech savvy individual in this room right now. Like I'm.
You have a microphone that lights up.
That's true.
Totally
Yeah.
blinded myself
Yeah,
with
but we
this.
Yeah,
It
you
just
know
lights
how
up
I
the
got
sound.
this? You know how I got this? You can thank RM Bay for this because you nope.
RM Bay, shut up.
RM Bay. Shout out to
RM
RM
Bay.
Bay. Shout out to RM Bay.
Shout out to
RM
RM Bay. Shout out to RM Bay.
Shout out to the. Shout out to
She's the reason I have this. She's the reason I have that camera. Like I did spend like a pretty chunk of change for Big Booty Judy. Have you guys ever seen Big Booty Judy?
I've seen
No.
the picture. I've seen the picture of Big Booty Judy.
This is Big Booty Judy.
That's
Ah,
Big Booty.
gotcha,
Yeah.
yeah.
Ah.
Aaron, I need one of those.
My
Just
That's
start
really
whispering
enjoyable.
into her phone, like for the ads to kick in, just like new PC, new gaming PC, and just set it away. Just start adding.
Got a brand new table for tabletop play and mounted a camera to our dining room ceiling.
You haven't seen the camera that I just got in the mail today.
Ooh, okay,
Uh,
okay.
It's a Blackmagic Studio 4K.
Whoa.
Ooh, we're gonna
That sounds
see the
expensive.
Illumiteers extra sharp and bright. Ooh, yes
Yo.
sir, yes
Yeah.
sir.
That's gonna
Yes, sir.
that's gonna be very expensive.
It's huge.
That's
huge.
Wow.
Well, I love y'all. I just wanted to pop in and say hi. I love all you
Absolutely.
guys.
Hi.
I'm gonna go.
Love
I gotta
you.
go grind with the team. We're gonna
Go
do some more
go
testing
practice.
for.
Go
Yes.
Yeah,
Chicago
we got
grind.
testing for Chicago.
Hey.
Yeah, we may need to arrange a call sometime before Friday so you all can make me smart.
Yeah.
Talk.
Over
You're
here
asking.
too. Over here too.
You're
my
asking the
friend.
wrong fella because I'm gonna tell you to play Blue Steel, and I'm
that's
gonna also tell you don't play Blue Steel because now more than ever does every single decision you make matter.
Important.
Like the difference between like winning the game and losing the game.
Two things. Two maybe like every misplay for both Sapphire Steel and Ruby Amethyst are like
Yeah,
very
for sure.
important. Those are
Mhm.
going to be
Yep,
the
if
big
you-
brain players.
Okay.
I should stop playing it then, I guess.
Noted.
No, wait, stop selling your short, bro. Like I'm so tired. I'm so tired of R&B be like, I'm not good at this game. I'm good. I don't know what to, I'm not that smart.
I'm terrible. And can I interest you in a golden Mickey?
It's
Golden
like,
Mickey says
dude,
differently.
I know
Can I
you got
interest
lucky.
you guys in a golden Mickey? Cause like I'm trying to sell it.
He's
No,
off
you
into offers,
cannot
ladies and
interest
gentlemen.
me.
Liam, no,
You cannot interest Liam in a golden Mickey. He's not interested.
He seems
Hey.
interested.
You know what's better than a golden Mickey, Liam?
A house.
that?
A golden Mickey, that R&B one. You will get to cherish that memory.
I
for eternity.
know. I know.
Where's yours?
I know.
I'm gonna pick up a second one
Right.
at Fort Worth. Hopefully I get
Ooh.
a.
Oh,
dude.
he said a second one.
Second one is you sell for half the price, right? To friends.
Yeah.
Buy one get one free
I'm-
kind of deal.
I'm about to sell the first one at half the price because Chiboy's getting some depressing offers.
Really?
Oh no.
Yeah. I just need to I need to find those I keep hearing these talks about rich Disney adults. I need to find them. Them
They're
and
in
I need to
Florida,
hang
right?
out.
Stop.
Yeah.
Start hanging out in Disney Springs, and just
Just hawking your.
Just ruin it. Just
I got a Mickey over here. I got a Mickey over here.
Southern Mickey card official.
Yeah, I got a Mickey over here. Yeah, you see.
yeah, wear a trench coat. Just what could go wrong? What
No,
could
he
go
needs to-
wrong? man?
Wait, more on brand. Newsies. He's like,
Yeah.
yeah, get yourself
Newsies,
a
yeah.
little Newsies cap.
Yep, you're
There you
100%
go.
right. I need a Newsies cap.
Yeah,
Mhm.
see, we figured it out. That's how we're gonna sell it to the Richard. You just gotta grind it out.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Identify.
Yeah, I could also just go for the playset and just play this 8 cost 5/5 evasive.
But it's a
Question
bad
four.
card.
Oh my gosh, that would be the most epic move ever.
That would be
Like,
the most
actually,
expensive
down a
thing to
golden
ever
Mickey.
happen.
Here's the thing. I'm not even gonna play it. I'm gonna play a green-red deck with that queen, that discard you gain lore equal to the
Yep.
the discarded character's lore, and I'm just gonna discard every Mickey with this 10-cent bulk rare. That's
Discard.
I'll discard $75,000. Gain 4.
No big deal. No big
What was
deal.
that? Nothing. Don't worry about it.
What
Yeah,
card is that? Can I read?
All right, turn one. I'll
Yeah,
ink
man.
golden Mickey pass.
Could you
ink-
imagine?
Just ink it. No big deal.
Yeah.
You ink it if you have it in your hand anyway. Man.
Bro, I last set I inked foil Sad Beast more than I inked anything else.
Yeah,
That's
Those
sad.
were like-
That's
That's
sad.
why
were-
he's sad.
that's why he's sad.
That's why he's
So
sad, because he
Why
ends
he's
up in my
sad.
inkwell.
He's
He
a
never gets to
$50
play.
piece of ink. It's wonderful.
You eat.
Yeah.
That's why he's
Yeah.
sad.
You don't have to ink me.
So blue steel. Are we-
That's.
That's a deep cut.
That's
Wow.
a deep cut, and if you know that, I respect you.
All right,
God.
y'all. I love you
I
guys.
can do all
you guys-
sorts of
Bye,
things.
R&B.
Beautiful people. You guys have a good night.
You too. Finger hearts.
R&B, everyone. What a sweetheart.
heart.
What a gentleman. What a sweetheart.
Finger hearts for Labyrinth.
Okay,
Cards
Yeah.
for Labyrinth.
so Knive, he wrote that song while we were walking our dog. And then came back and threw on stitch mitts, and I was like, what is happening right now? And he's like, fill me on the floor. Like,
You don't have to ink me.
Oh.
I can
Yeah.
play.
That sounds about right.
well, look who
Well,
we
look
have.
who
Now,
else is here.
this is a part.
My what the bucket hat has.
Where's the
Hello.
bucket hat?
Oh, he's also
Bucket
in
hat,
the dark.
Mario has a bucket
This
hat.
is the Simon, ladies and gentlemen. This is
Where's
What's
the?
up?
Hey.
Hey, Brandon.
Yo.
Now.
Everyone. Sorry, I'm no R&B. He had to just come in
No.
here and
No. Wait.
go up and
Yeah.
I apologize to the chat for the disappointment
Yeah,
here.
whoa,
We are-
whoa.
We are
We're
down
done.
one golden Mickey
Why
on
is
that.
everyone selling themselves short
Yeah.
here? We have, no
Yeah.
big deal. The official caster for, the DLCs in NA. No big deal.
There
No
we
big
go.
deal. Ladies and gentlemen.
The man
Oh,
who
that's
didn't-
Bucket hat
it's
wearing.
Brandon.
Oh,
I can't do the hat and the earphones or the
Yeah, that's-
headphones, so that's why I never wear it together. But everybody asks for it, so we're
Fair.
we're
You
gonna
kind of
rock
have
with
to.
this.
You committed to the bucket hat bit, so
I
now-
know.
you gotta figure it out. So it's.
I love the
Maybe-
people in Atlanta were asking where your bucket hat was.
I
Yeah,
know.
I
Okay,
still have
so
this
Alright.
thing.
I
My
learned
favorite-
my lesson because I'm the bucket hat enthusiast, right?
Yes, you are.
And I couldn't wear it on stream for the same reason. There were huge headphones that we had to wear. Liam can attest to this. The bucket
It's
hat would have
true.
looked super silly. Trying to make a good impression.
It's
Um,
true.
But it was
Normally a bucket hat's so stylish.
yeah.
It is. Whoa! Wait a minute. Wait. Pause. It is stylish. It is
So
a top hat, but it is stylish.
the first day in between rounds, I was trying to stay cool because Liam and I were in like suits, and everyone else could be in shirts and shorts, and there's 2,000 people in this room, and the bucket hat is not breathable at all, and so like I didn't want to get sweat head walking around for on stream, and I kid you not, every single person that recognized me and I ran into was like, "Where's the bucket hat? I didn't even recognize you because you didn't have the bucket hat on." So the second day, I made sure that anytime I stepped out of the booth, I had the bucket hat on, and that's how it's going to be in Chicago too. I learned my lesson.
Yeah, I will make sure. I'm your roommate. I will make sure you bring one.
It's funny. Just leave a little note pinned to his. One of my favorite moments, and I think I've shared this with you, but we were. It was the last day of the tournament, and I'm riding the escalator. So for those who weren't there, like we were in the basement under MomoCon. Like you had to take like 3 escalators down to get to where we were, and we're riding the escalator up. It's late at night, and Brandon is like, I don't know, like 8 steps higher than me on the escalator with his bucket hat on, and behind me there's some I won't say name, but there was a couple Ravensburger employees, and they were chatting about this and that, and then one of them looks up and goes, "Hey man, look, it's a bucket hat," and the other guy turns and goes, "Hey, yeah, do you know who that is?"
I still don't even believe you. You've told this to me before, but I'm just like, that's not real. Nobody knows who I am.
It's true. It happened. It was so funny. It was funny. I was like, yeah, the bucket hat is real. Like it's a thing.
Oh,
Yeah, it's not just on Twitter. I do it in real life.
I went to my set champ, saw 2 bucket hats there too. It was pretty cool. Yep. You created a movement, my friend, and that's a big deal. It's exciting. So we got the Chicago coming up for the gents, for the casting booth. Are we? You said you were getting ready. How do we get ready for something like that? What are we doing? Like I know y'all are watching the the gameplays and getting into the nitty gritty, but like how are we getting ready for realsies? Like what are we doing? Are you setting up some time, or just kind of playing the game? What are we doing?
3 things for me, and I think we all have our own preparation, so I'm really interested in how Brandon's prepping so he can make me better, because I'm probably doing everything wrong. But 3 things I'm kind of doing. One is definitely studying the meta, although that's hard. But I am looking at a lot of decks that have topped recently, some things that people are posting, just to see what's out there and how the decks that I know have changed, what cards are being worked in, etc. And so hoping to gain a feel for how these decks may play better than their previous iterations, which I know very well, but the new ones not so much. The second thing I really have to do is take a look at those commonly played cards and learn to recognize them on site, because I know like Brendan and I, and Brendan's better than me too, like can recognize a card on the table from its like just shape and general artwork, and then know exactly what it does. And that pause, if you have to look up a card, even if it's a little bit of uncertainty, like I can't remember if it gets Challenger +2 or Challenger +3, like even that can throw you off a little bit. And so I'm trying to study those a little bit. And the other thing is I am having some conversations with some experienced players, some people who are playing, so that they can talk me through what they think the meta kind of looks like, just generally overall, so I can kind of talk intelligently about where I think different decks are positioned within the meta, and then how players with certain decks are going to make decisions, etc. So I think it starts at the micro level of just straight up knowing the cards, and then, next, I didn't do these in the right order. And then so knowing the cards, next level up is understanding how these cards that are commonly played in the new set slot into existing decks. And then the third step is kind of understanding as a whole, now that I understand those decks, the meta in general, like big picture, how does this how does this meta shape up as a whole, where a deck's positioned, etc. I will throw 3.5. The other thing is I'm listening to my streams from last weekend and fixing things that I hate, because I used a lot of filler words. There's a lot of things that I could have done a lot better, and I'm trying to learn and just get better from where I was last weekend. And I think that I know all of us casters feel the same way. Like we owe it to the audience and the Lorcana community to give the best possible commentary, and so I know we are all pushing ourselves to try to get that much better. And I'm interested in what Brandon has to say, because I will straight up here say this. Again, Brandon is somebody who I listened to throughout day one, and listened to his cadence and how he talked about the cards and how he bounced back and forth from you know, the big level strategic stuff to like the small level play by play. And I actually learned a lot from him just listening to him commentate day one as well. So I'm interested in Brandon's thoughts here.
Okay, so first of all, Liam always sells himself short when he talks about this, especially when I'm around, and I hate it. Liam's a great commentator, and like listening back on Atlanta, there were a lot of things that I disliked about how I commentated. Not everything, but there were areas that I really thought I could improve, and there was a lot of things that Liam did that I was like, wow, Liam did a great job. So don't let him sell himself short. He's an amazing commentator in ways that I'm better than commentating as well. And while we're here, Liam, I need you to send me a list of those people that you're contacting, because you're doing way more than I am in regards. Like maybe I need to get in on some of these calls, because
send me I'll invite you to some calls. We'll
because for some reason I just don't contact high level players like in DMs personally. I prep in a similar way that Liam mentioned, by just consuming a lot of their content. So like, I mean, all the Labyrinth guys, I'm listening to their podcast. I'm in their Discord. I'm in the 20 Lore Discord. I'm in a lot of the competitive spaces, just eating up as much as I can. Luckily for my job, I can have live streams on in the background. So even if I'm not like in people's chats all the times, a lot of times I'm lurking, just like listening to these competitive players and how they're playing, what they think is good, what they think is bad. So really just trying to soak in as much of that as possible, because I do think there's two areas to commentary that Liam was hinting at. You have the part of the game that we have to be educated on, right, to be commentators. I think depending on what role we're trying to play, and specifically what Ravensburger and what Disney's asking us to do, that level of knowledge or the depth of knowledge can vary. I noticed in Atlanta, they didn't want us to go too analytical, right? Like we weren't there trying to predict what people were going to play next and get super deep into the weeds. They understand that there's Disney fans that might be watching, and there's a lot of people who may not fully understand the game. So we had to take a step back from that a little bit. And like Liam mentioned, when somebody would play a card, we would explain what the card does. You know, when we kind of go through maybe why this person's playing this card, how it interacts with the current board state, right, etc. So there's preparation on that level in understanding the game, understanding the matchups, because you have to be able to explain context within any given board state. Why is Bucky so strong? Why is it important that they didn't play Bucky on 2 and shift Diablo on 2? You know, like we have to know things like that. And then there's also, like Liam said, the more, I don't know if technical is the right word, but the part of the commentary that has nothing to do with the game and has everything to do with our cadence and how we talk into the microphone. Something that has taken me forever to crack, and I still struggle with sometimes, are those filler words. I get really, really bad about saying like, using I'll not know how to finish a thought, and so I'll finish a thought with something along those lines or whatever, or things like that. And I, especially when casting, I'm very, very, very intentionally thinking the whole time just to pause. If I'm going too fast and I can't think of the next thing I'm going to say, I just try to take a second, pause, like figure out what I'm going to say, and then say it. So those are kind of the two areas that I prep. It's the gameplay, which is the majority of the prep, because like I said, it's important to be knowledgeable, and I don't want to sound like an idiot on air. I don't want, like, I really respect all these, I really, really respect all these competitive players that I consume, and like, I want them, there's part of me that wants them to listen to my commentary and say, oh, Brandon knows what he's talking about, instead of being like, should these guys even be up here? So there's a part of me that wants to prove myself, and because of that, I want to make sure I really understand the meta and the matchups and those sorts of things. And then also, it's just like a mindfulness thing. Like there's not a particular thing that I'm doing this week to prepare for the technical side of things. It's just the mindfulness as I'm going through the day, making sure I'm collecting my thoughts, kind of storing them so that I can pull them out when we actually cast in Chicago, so that I can not only give insightful commentary, I can also be entertaining without being too tight and stressed about what I'm going to say for each game. So yeah, I've kind of rambled there, but
no, but that's awesome. That's what we need. It's but no, that's very fascinating that you say that, because like one of the biggest things with other card game tournaments that I watch, like Yu-Gi-Oh, for example, YCSs, the big emphasis that I want to have in what you said is that being able to explain why X card matters is so necessary, because you can go into like these Yu-Gi-Oh tournaments where you watch a feature match where they'll tell you like, oh, they're doing this combo line, but they don't really explain to someone that hasn't watched the game for let's say a year to kind of just catch up with what happened. They'll just be like, oh, they're doing this. It's really good. It's like, well, why? Mm-hmm. So you guys doing that is really important, especially in a game that's like in its infancy. So I think that's such a cool concept. Like being able to do that is also a very important skill too. Just be like, why is this card good? Well, let me tell you, stranger. So I don't know. I think that's very fascinating, and the fact that y'all are kind of just breathing and eating this game. As just the community, we're just so proud of like what y'all showed out in the Chicago. I mean Atlanta, and y'all are gonna do fantastic in Chicago. But the fact that y'all are still doing improvements, it shows passion, and that's something I just respect so much.
And I think one thing that like hasn't come up yet is the endurance that you guys had. Like you guys had to comment 9 rounds. Like yeah, the players are playing those 9 rounds, but you guys are talking. Like your voices and mouths are moving for 9 whole rounds at a time. And like that alone is impressive.
No, that's a good point. Like, and it's not only, you know, your voice, resting your voice, but then eating properly, drinking properly. Yeah. Because it's when the adrenaline's pumping, it's really, really easy to forget and not take care of yourself. The same way it is when you're playing in a TCG tournament where you go from match to match and then realize 5 hours later that you haven't had water for, you know, all day. That's important too. And then the mental endurance as well. Because, well, for a variety of reasons, but it is mentally draining, and you have to, gosh, there's so much that goes into it. There's one other piece too when you talk about endurance throughout the day is one of the biggest challenges I had was repeating myself. And by that I mean, you know, I remember, and I kept telling Brendan about this because I was struggling with it for a long time the day of. You know, I remember everything that I've said. I remember every joke that I've made. I remember every card that I've explained. I remember every term that I've said right throughout the day. And I forget oftentimes that the people watching this have not been here for 8 hours.
Right.
The new people have come in, you know, people have left. So there's 2 things that I have to remember. One is I have to find ways to repeat what I've said before oftentimes, but in maybe a new and fresh way. But then also I can't play off jokes that I've made earlier or things like that. And I have to be comfortable because oftentimes I would lead a sentence with like, as you know, as we've said before, and that was like 3 hours ago, and then I have to remind myself I didn't need to say that. So, but the endurance piece I think is kind of tied to that because it's tied to this idea of taking a performance and stretching it for you know 9-10 hours, being compelling the whole time, but then making it kind of a cohesive, seamless kind of thing.
Long.
I don't know.
2 days.
Yeah.
Whew.
That's something that I'm still struggling with also, and trying to work through on when is it appropriate for me to repeat something that I've already said because there may be new people watching. I felt like I explained the game plan for Ruby Sapphire 6 times in like you know the time that we were casting, and I don't know if that was a good thing or a bad thing because you don't know who's listening and who's new, or who's, you know, was tuning in round 1 and then had to leave and now they're here in round 4. So it's definitely part of it, and endurance is a real thing as well. On the final day casting the finals, I was exhausted. Like I'd gotten to the point where I was just basically sitting in the chair in front of the camera when Jonty and them were streaming because it's off when they were doing their casting, and I was just like, I have got to reserve as much energy as possible because it's the finals in the semifinals. We have to be excited, but we're exhausted.
2 days in.
Yeah, we're exhausted because we're 2 days in and our throats are sore. Like Wonderland says, it's so easy just to not eat. Like that's so true. Not eating and not drinking is difficult. You have to force yourself to do it even when you don't want to do it. And yeah, you have to be on for a really long time, and there's still things that I'm working on, like Liam had mentioned about how to commentate in a way that is entertaining and informative for new players or potential players that aren't aware of the game without being so repetitive that the people who are watching the stream are getting annoyed because you keep explaining what Challenger is, you know?
Yeah.
So I have a question for you. What is a challenge?
What's a Lorcana?
Challenge is commentating your very first.
Oh, so I do. Okay, so I have a question for Liam on this. Are you any less nervous going into Chicago now that we've done Atlanta? Because I feel way less nervous than I was for Atlanta.
Oh, it's interesting. I feel.
I can answer this question for him.
What would you say?
I think you're way more nervous.
I'm
because
way
of the
more
meta.
nervous.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's two things. One, it is the meta. Like, I don't know it as well, which I think.
Yeah.
So I was talking. So, and one note on that, and then I'll get to the second part of my answer. But one note on that, I have to remind myself. I got some advice from Tannen last night, and he said, he's like, "Hey, look," he's like, "the meta is new. We all know it's new. You know, it's new to you. It's new to us. It's new to the viewers. And so part of what you can do in a tournament like this is bring the audience along this journey with you. Like, it's perfectly okay to go in right up front and say, hey, I'm going to learn, we're going to see things that we haven't seen before, and we're going to experience it for the first time together. And so that was great advice from an experienced caster, and I need to remind myself that. But I still feel this expectation that I know everything. But the other thing is, I feel like I went in like to the first one, and I had, I don't know, like I didn't put very high expectations on myself because I'd never done it before. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know how I would do. And to be frank, like if I went in there and performed poorly, I think I would have said to myself, I gave it my very best go, and I did the best I could, and it just didn't pan out. Doing it a second time, though, now they know what they're getting, and I feel like there's a higher expectation for me to perform. And I don't know, maybe I'm putting too much on myself, but I'm a little more nervous. I don't know.
I think by the round, I want to say I'm going to be a little pessimistic here because kind of have to. Around round 4, you're going to be like, oh, this is the same Bucky ice block matchup. The fourth time I've all right, we know what we're doing. So, I kind of want to get into that as well because, set 3, we had, the finals had Amber Amethyst, for God's sake. You guys had to. I don't know how familiar y'all were with the deck, but I felt like y'all kind of.
Oh, not at all. If you go back and watch, we were exactly what Liam just said about the advice that the Tannen Grace gave to him, about being like, we're gonna figure this out as we go. Clue. That's exactly what Liam and I had to do in the semis when Joshua showed up with a deck. We thought he was playing green steel because that's what we saw on the slides, and then we saw Amber. We couldn't hear Tannen's interviews the whole time Joshua was talking about Amber. We had no idea that was even happening.
No.
And that was us. Then we were like, what is this deck? I defaulted to aggro. It wasn't aggro. And then I was like,
no,
what the heck is this?
Our godmother came down. We were like,
we were like, what? We were like, what is this do?
I think actually that was a moment off camera that may have been the one time where I Googled a card and put my phone in between Brandon and I, and we're on camera looking at it. We're reminding ourselves, that's a 3/4, and Cinderella, Exertica, okay,
sure, we knew that.
We just acted like we knew it the whole time.
And there's one Cinderella in this color pair, so yeah.
Yeah, but we didn't even think it was in there for that. To be frank, I don't think we'd seen a Cinderella yet, and we were like, "Oh, this is clearly just a shift target with decent stats." And then later on, the Cinderella comes out, and we're like, "It's
and I'm like, well, I guess there's a couple of cards that you could play with Cinderella to sing, and then we get his deck list, and there's zero songs in the entire deck, and it's like,
what is the sauce?" But going from that to potentially a 4-deck format is going to be a little bit. Again, we don't want to limit it, but we saw the last tournament this weekend kind of set up the base for what we might be seeing in Chicago. So going from that to maybe potentially a little bit more, I don't want to say set too bad, because set too bad, I know Brandon, you did it. You had to go through a full event with just basically Ruby Amethyst matchups,
mirrors,
just 4 or 5 back to back. So kind of going to this fruitful to potentially this how do you guys have that fear of maybe how do we entertain the same matchup potential? I mean, they have to pick specially, but like, there's that fear, you know. It's just, how are we doing that? How is that something to think about, or just kind of don't worry about it? We'll get there when we get there situation.
It is a very difficult thing to do if we run into that situation. I'm hoping that the broadcast team is understanding enough to, especially in the first day when we basically get to choose who comes on stream, that we find different matchups we can go over. That might change some as we move into day 2, and of course we get into top cut and it's just whoever it is, whatever bracket they pick. But I think part of that, pick me, we can Candio if you want to be on stream. And you weren't on. Candio didn't make it on stream.
No, which I'm really bummed about, because the Peter Pan would have been delightful.
We'll make sure you get on there. We'll try our best. Anyway, I think it pairs a little bit into what we talked about earlier about not knowing how frequently we should repeat stuff, because there's a lot that can be talked about between mirror matches, and especially, I mean, as much as everybody hates Emerald Steel, there's a little bit to talk about, especially as the games are being played out, and depending on who gets what card out first. We can talk about why certain cards are super important in the matchup. We can talk about why the mirror match can be especially difficult for the player on the draw. So there's usually a lot to work with there. The issue is when you run out of that stuff and you've exhausted everything you know about the matchup, and then you have to start repeating yourself. It's like, if we're 2 or 3 rounds ahead, that should be okay to just reiterate and recycle. But again, there's that concern of, okay, we've said this 3 times now, you know, we said this all day yesterday, and a lot of people may be watching today from yesterday. You know, we want to continue to be entertaining and informative without being boring and repetitive.
Definitely.
Yeah. There's as Brandon suggested, I think it's incumbent on. So, you know, even though the meta, you know, we do see, we'll talk about, as Knive calls it, the quad. You know, there's the big 4 that I think everybody thinks are the most dominant, you know, decks in the format. But even within those decks, you know, there's going to be nuanced differences. You know, some decks are going to run, you know, Minnie Mouse. You know, some Ruby Amethyst are going to run Minnie Mouse 1/3s in the 1 slot, and some are going to run Pascals. You know, as we saw Matthew Wright run in Atlanta. And so. Brandon and I, you know, and the other commentators have an opportunity to draw out, you know, those differences, to identify where this player has made very specific, nuanced choices that make that deck perhaps unique. Even if, you know, 54 of the cards are the same, those 6 that are different, why are they different? Why did that player make that choice? What matchups, you know, are they trying to prepare for with that difference? And how will this mirror match play out differently based on those nuanced changes? And so on the one hand, it is a challenge, because you can only, again, talk about the Ruby Sapphire game plan so many times. On the other hand, you know, there is a lot of fun in looking at those, you know, individual nuanced differences. I'm also not totally convinced that this meta has been cracked, to be honest.
I'm not either.
You know, I really think, especially after, you know, the week or 2 weeks after we saw this rogue deck come in and win Atlanta, you know, there's all sorts of spicy possibilities. And I do think early on in the format, you know, 2 things generally tend to happen. One is, you know, people tend towards aggro in unfamiliar formats. I don't think we see that so much in Lorcana, because I think the tried and true decks have generally not been broken yet. And so they just generally tend to persist. So I think what happens is, you know, the second thing that often happens in new formats, you know, when you get a new set introduced, is people default back to the decks they know, that they understand very, very, very well, and they try to kick them up just a bit of a notch. Because if you have, and it makes sense, if you've got 9 months playing Ruby Amethyst, you know, and you're going into a major event 2 weeks into a set release, and you can spice it up with a little bit of extras, but the core of that gameplay is still the same, you know, why wouldn't you do that? Because you have 9 months of experience to rely on.
So why do y'all think that Ravensburger scheduled this event like 2 weeks into a new meta? Like, why do you think they wouldn't think about timing the events towards the end of like a current meta? Oh, Knives got an idea.
Yeah, so this is actually a thing that happens a lot in other TCGs, where they have a big event like 2 weeks after release. And one reason for it is marketing. What is the best way to show off new cards than having them be shown in a competitive setting as a start?
Yeah, that's cool.
Another thing is like people want to play with these new cards, and people want to play with them competitively. So with Ursula's Return, I think we're getting 3 challenges in North America that have this format. We have Chicago, and then we have Fort Worth, and then Toronto is in that weird spot because it releases the same weekend as Set 5 Big Box Store.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's gonna be just like how it was in Atlanta, where it's like a dead format kind of situation. But
Fair.
yeah, that's kind of why they have these kind of big events like right after release. It's a way to market the new cards, and it's a way to market new star players. If that makes sense. Like someone could come in with the spice for the new set, and that shifts the meta. However, I think we'll get. I think Chicago is going to look very different from Fort Worth. Is going to look very different from Toronto.
Think so?
Just because we've seen how these metas work. Like even in set 2, yeah, Ruby Amethyst was dominant, but like the second, third, and fourth decks were constantly changing.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, and
Good.
Oh no, go ahead, Rob. I'm sorry.
Yeah, like we had at the end of set 2, we started seeing Mufasa decks, and so Ruby, the popsicle deck was big at the start of set 2. And
That was
like
fun.
the England's meta was like crazy. Like we had a new deck pop up every 2 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so like honestly, like people, like a lot of people are freaking out. So it's kind of
Let us.
well, I am a little bit, but
Mhm.
like
Freak out.
like I posted on Twitter like a lot of people are freaking out about Bucky. I think
Yeah.
people will eventually figure out Bucky. And if not, and you know, bravo, we have this set's Be Prepared, this set's Medusa, this set's Goat.
All right. Controversial topic time. Bucky, how do we feel about it? I know. I mean, I heard some thoughts, but I just want to get from you guys from live. I saw the last episode yesterday, This Week in Ink. So like I know a little bit of opinion, but I want to hear from you. Actually, how do we feel about Bucky? Because you guys are gonna talk about this guy a lot next week.
Yeah, we are.
Thoughts?
You go first,
Complicated.
Liam.
Complicated. I think card bannings are generally to be avoided at most cost. I think there's a time and place for card bannings in competitive formats, but I do think we are oftentimes in TCGs, we have very short-term memories. 2 weeks of playing a format can feel like a long time, and I think we are often too quick to jump to the ban solution when in reality enough time and people would figure it out, and all that. So generally, I think we're too early in the game and we're too early in this meta to be calling for any sort of a card ban. And so is it a problem that needs to be fixed? At the moment, I wouldn't advocate for any action. The one thing about cards, and especially about Lorcana, is, you know, when you say something like whenever a Floodborn is X, Y, and Z, or, you know, perhaps as you put out Floodborn cards, whenever you introduce a new version of that, a low-cost version of that character, you're making all the previous Floodborn versions more powerful. And what I'm saying is, these cards that say when any X is played, you know, do this thing. As the game goes on, those cards are naturally going to become more and more and more powerful. And you know, whereas in the very early stages of this game, that card might not be that great. Over time, it's just going to become, you know, potentially format warping. So I think it's a card worth keeping an eye on. And as more low-cost Floodborn are introduced, it could be more and more oppressive. My only frustration with the card actually is not so much that it's so good it's warping the format and making people respond to it, etc. It's that what makes it good makes opponents sad. It's unfun to play against, right? That's the one thing. And in a game like Lorcana, where, you know, you're constantly trying to, like we are, expose new people to the game and Disney fans and bring people in, it's just not a fun card to play against. It's kind of like land destruction in Magic. You're like, you know, somebody brings out an Armageddon in Commander and you're like, why would you do that? Like, we want to play our cards. So I don't know. That's my one. That's the one thing I think that kind of frustrates me about Bucky is that it's not that it's good. It's that the reason that it's good is unfun to play against. I don't know. I'm not sure how much those thoughts helped, but I have complicated thoughts on the subject.
that's valid.
Like
Yeah.
I will support it not being banned, but I will never play it in a casual setting. That's kind of where I
No.
stand on it. We're like I will personally ban it for myself in a format where the goal is to have fun, but I don't think it's too broken enough to where the goal of the game is to win to be banned.
What do you think, Brandon?
I don't know.
So this is where I really like to lean on competitive players that can play this game a lot more than I can and are a lot better at this game than I am.
Right.
Because I really value a lot of their opinions on cards like this. They'll have a better understanding on how powerful or how I can't think of the word that I want to use, but maybe how dangerous cards like Bucky can be. Like there were people when Bucky was released that were saying this is an extremely dangerous card. It's going to get nasty at some point. And apparently oppressive is a good word. Thank you, Lorcana Bell. And we just happen to be at that spot already. I don't so much have a problem with Bucky himself. I've always disliked discard in general and that game plan for the reasons that Leah mentioned. I just don't feel like I can play the game. And it's just not fun for me to play against. I think the ways we had discard in the first couple of sets was fine because it could be played around. It wasn't super oppressive, but it could still work sometimes. Like Flynn Rider, Curse Merfolk were great cards, but you didn't lose the game because somebody.
Sure.
Well, not usually. There were a few instances where you would lose the game if somebody played a Merfolk on one. Sometimes that's just bad matchup, but it's going to be that way in TCGs no matter what. Bucky is extremely oppressive in this set just because of the amount of really good Floodborns that Emerald and Steel have available to them. And I think paired with the ability to shift characters out for 0 ink, even though you're getting rid of cards out of your hand to shift Diablo, just being able to so aggressively discard your opponent's hand and essentially make them or put them in a state where they can't play the game on turn 4 or turn 5 is just not fun. Like, it's not fun to watch. It's not fun for your opponent, and it makes for uninteresting games, in my opinion, and games that rely a little bit less on skill. There's a little bit of skill involved in playing around certain cards that are specifically tacked around Bucky. But yeah, I also really dislike ban lists. Well, not necessarily ban lists. I dislike banning cards just because I don't know, it feels like such a harsh thing to do, even though at any point in time the developers could unban a card. I think people don't talk about that often enough. Like, maybe Bucky's too oppressive right now, so he needs to like be put away for a minute, and then in a couple sets when there's other answers for him or he would be less oppressive, they can pull him off of that list and people can play him again. But I just, like, as soon as you start implementing ban lists, I don't like telling people they can't play with their cards, you know, that they buy or they earn or whatever.
Sure.
So I kind of dislike that. And I agree that I don't think that this meta is solved. I think Bucky and Diablo are going to be great cards in this meta, almost regardless of how the meta develops. I can't see it moving in a way. As long as both Ruby Sapphire stays strong or some sort of really high-end control deck stays strong and Emerald Steel stays strong, it's going to be really difficult, I think, for like Emerald Steel to just be wiped out. So for those reasons, I really dislike Bucky and dislike the discard package just as a personal thing. I'm not going to play it for personal reasons. If I just like, I wouldn't want to play against it, so like I'm not going to play it. But it makes total sense if you're going to go to a 1,000-person Disney Lorcana challenge. If this is the best deck in the format, it makes total sense for you to bring Emerald Steel Bucky to win.
Right.
You know, it's just, it might make for a really grindy set set championships do, but Disney Lorcana challenge.
It's an interesting one. It's definitely an interesting one because like I love a good ban list. Like Yu-Gi-Oh background here, we love ban lists here. Like whenever there's a problem, we'll just put them in there, put them in the gulag. will come back whenever it needs to. And I think the biggest thing for me when I say I'm pro ban list is that like cards like Bucky, as much as I love my franchise, I love my movie, I get it, but cards like that are good cards. They're fantastic. It just promotes such unhealthy gameplay. It's bad gameplay. It's just not fun. It promotes bad, just unfun, grimy games that just isn't exciting. Who wants to just top deck and just play a card for the entirety game because your hand is empty? It's just not exciting, and winning that way is, yeah, you can do it, but it just doesn't promote a good gameplay mechanic. Like Mystic Mine is a good Yu-Gi-Oh example where it basically made the game unplayable for the opponent when you play that card, which is what Bucky's sort of doing, and that's where I think the problem comes from, in my opinion, where the game just becomes unplayable to you, where it's just so oppressive in the sense of it's no longer something I want to do anymore. I'd rather just spend that hour doing something else. And that's where I think that consideration should come in, because similar to like in Yu-Gi-Oh, where it's like some cards created first turn kills where you just comboed off one, get rid of the card. That's problem. That's kind of where I see it, and it's the same situation where it's like if it's blocking gameplay, we should consider it. And like you said, it's only gonna get better with more Floodborne opportunities, and knowing how this game has been going, we're gonna get more Floodborns that are probably better than the ones that are in the package. So it's just something that we should be considering of it. Because it's just going to promote worse gameplay down the road. Like, if it can shift Bucky into, play Bucky and shift into some atrocious, more discard options, then we're ruined even more. So it's just a problematic card that's going to, like you said, just going to get worse. So, and it's just the promotion of bad gameplay is where my problem comes from.
Yeah, the one of my consternations with ban lists though, and I agree. By the way, I agree with everything that everybody said so far, completely. And even you talking about the benefits of ban list, I am on board. The one thing though that I try to remember, especially with ban lists, is you have to do it. It's hard to time them right without causing significant friction. There are those of us who have the ability to purchase, significant amounts of singles, who have enough product that we can adjust our decks on the fly, who engage in this game so much that we can keep on top of the meta and adjust our deck list based on, what's going on. But there's a large percentage of the community who perhaps their only engagement with Lorcana is their league night. Or maybe they take a night off and they show up to their store once every couple. They have day jobs, they work hard, they do their thing, and then they go to league night maybe once every other week. Those folks maybe want to play in set championships, even though I know we talk about how those are competitive events and more casual players don't play in them. Some casual folks, who don't play too often do want to play in them. And so when you ban a card, you have to be very. I think the best way to do it is not a surprise banning, but it's where you project out and you say, hey, after a while, at a certain date, maybe it's set rotation even, this card is going to be banned, because there's nothing worse than showing up to your league night having spent, $200 perhaps, saved up, spent $200 on Diablos, you built your Emerald Steel deck, you're like, this is the deck I want to play. I built it. I finally did it. You show up and somebody says, hey, those Buckies are banned.
Yeah.
And you're like,
it's a good deck though.
Yeah. Well,
it's like a deck.
Well, like
fair.
If the Emeralds, if Bucky gets banned, that Emerald Steel deck is going to change dramatically.
This will be good though.
And so, that's the big, it's still sweet. I think it would be still fun. It would become more fun. But like you said, we need to be careful to where and I say we, Ravensburg needs to be more careful of maybe give a 2 weeks notice kind of thing, where it's hey.
Usually that's what they do though in ban lists.
Sometimes.
Because
yeah.
Unless an emergency ban list. I come from a lot of ban lists. We just get ban lists every 3 months. We know around what time we're getting. So usually it's before an event time. They prepare for it. It's sometimes they release it during an event, so it's on the next event you can play the new ban list. So it's timing that is very important. But if you do it in a right manner, it wouldn't really be a problem in the sense of people, especially set champs, right? If you have a ban list a month before with the new set, or a week or so after a new set, we're banning XYZ card, now you go do your set champs preparation, then I think there's a lot of room to play with it. So a lot of the times ban lists are done properly in their timing, because if not, it will get ruined. But I think if they're smart with it, like you again, there's a lot of controversial, and it'll be so much good content, you guys. You have no idea.
Oh my word!
Banless
If
reactions.
that happens,
Oh my, it's gonna be so good. Like imagine that.
I already
too.
recorded the video. I'm just kidding.
Like, oh my, they banned card. Which card? Get ready for some thumbnail reactions.
Oh yeah.
Just get ready for those. It's gonna be awesome. So like, there's that aspect too. So I don't know. Banless, as much as I would like it to not have, we need some sort of limitation because having the entire card library forever is gonna cause some problems probably down the road with some cards like Bucky, where it's gonna get better. So we kind of need to figure out what we're gonna do with that stuff. And if I'm right, I think there's a chance. But I don't know. We just get the yap about it, and it'll be nice to do some extra content for a little banless. So I think it'll be great. So I just think.
So I was gonna ask. So I feel like Ravensburger has done some interesting things recently where that's gone kind of against the standard. So they're doing the two game format, and they're like, what if instead of a ban, they said something like you can only have 2 Buckies in your deck?
Restricted list.
Restricted
Okay.
Like a restricted list.
So, the problem with limits is that when you lose to those limited cards, you feel worse because now you just lost to a 2 of rather than a 4 of. Then I'm more upset that they drew the card rather than like did something with it. Because there's like again, my only comparison you can search a lot of these cards that are limited and stuff and be fine. But in here we don't have a lot of searchers, so we can just like we just draw it on top. And you losing to those cards are going to make you feel worse.
Yeah, and there's other issues with restricted lists, especially Lorcana's mulligan format makes it easier to find those one-ofs.
Yep.
And tutors, as we introduce tutors to the game, we've already seen one ish in the Madrigals. And so tutors is a card you can search your deck to find a specific card that reduces the variance, and that makes it easier to find those one of. So I dislike restricted lists, I think, more than ban lists.
Yeah, I agree.
I think usually if you're considering a card to be restricted and or banned, like the card is really good. And so even if sort of for the reasons that we just mentioned about the mulligan system being super generous, if we see more tutors coming into the game, although you might be slightly less consistent and maybe playing a turn 2 Bucky's still an extremely strong card, so it's still going to get played even if you can only play 2 or 1 of them, and you're still going to run into the same issues of losing games because of what Bucky does and how powerful Bucky is. So I personally just prefer like a set rotation or a ban list, or just getting rid of the card entirely and forcing people to reconstruct the deck in a way to either something different or to maybe do what they were trying to do, but maybe in a different way or less consistent or less powerful.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the point of the ban, is to like, it's the point is to make the meta healthier. And like for that to be the case, we need to figure out like what are the symptoms of a bad, unhealthy meta. One of those things is it's not fun. I don't think we're at that point yet. I like personally, like I'm having fun with this meta, like I've been jamming it. I've been having fun with it. Yeah, Emerald Steel, I do groan every time I see Bucky, but like I'm only seeing Bucky a fourth of the time right now.
Still 20, like I don't know. It's not the best. It's just really promotes unfun, and I hate that. Yeah. And like I love the guy, I love the squirrel, but gosh darn it. It's just like I have it sleeved up and I hate playing it. I hate playing against it. I hate playing it. I play this like it's just it got significantly better because of other cards. But gosh, that squirrel's a problem. Like it just promotes really unfun game, and I don't know, going through that on a live stream potentially over and over again. It's just not going to be.
We'll see.
Yeah,
we'll find out
we'll see what happens this weekend.
We'll find out.
Right.
I don't expect there to be a hard answer to Bucky that also survives against the rest of the meta. But this is also why I'm a little bit slow to yell that a card needs a ban, because one of the most exciting parts about the beginning of a set is figuring the set out. And if you always have a front runner, and Rise of the Floodborn, it was Ruby. Ruby Sapphire with Hiram and the new popsicle engine.
Hiram was a
And-
$15 card.
Yeah, and
It is
everybody
hard.
said the card was broken, and it is very good. It is still extremely
really
good.
crazy.
And it Hiram and the popsicle engine allows a lot of decks to function currently, but like people found ways to get under the decks. You know, people figured out ways to get around the problem, and I think I think after Chicago, we'll see just how much of a problem Bucky is, depending on the results. Because people are in the kitchen, they're cooking, they know what they're having to play against, and I think once we see the cream come to the top at Chicago, if all of top 16 is Emerald Steel Bucky list, then we know, okay, there's a problem here.
Exactly.
But if it's only half of the top 16 and a couple of them make it into the top 8, we can say, okay, Bucky may not be as bad as we thought it was, especially if we see, 4 or 5 different decks make it into there. So I'd like to see if the players can figure out a solution before we resort to just outright getting rid of the card.
Yeah,
Hopefully.
we've kind of found a solution already. Like, a lot of people are shifting over to Sapphire Steel because it's actually a really good matchup against Emerald Bucky, Emerald Steel. Because what is the thing that it causes? Bucky causes top deck battles.
Right.
And there is no better deck that can top deck than Sapphire Steel. Because you can top deck Cogsworth, Robin Hood, Beast, Tinkerbell, Hades.
All my least favorite cards.
Well, hey.
Wait, you don't like Tinkerbell? You don't like Big Tink?
I don't play Steel.
He's an Emerald Amethyst
Wow.
player.
He's
He
an
hates
Emerald
all
Amethyst
Steel
player. He
cards.
doesn't like that.
He's a Steel Amethyst Glimmer Gauntlet winner, dang it. He did play the Steel. He brought the...
That's true. I was forced to play Steel, and I
you
said,
won it all.
I said, if you're gonna make me play Steel, you're gonna make it. You're never gonna want me to play Steel again. So
He has that Captain Hook,
Yep.
like in his Glimmer Gauntlet
Yeah,
trophy. He has that
beautiful.
Captain Hook card that he kept playing in the
Beautiful.
finals.
Such a good
MVP.
deck. It was so good.
MVP of that deck.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's true.
Watching you draw like 20 cards was so fantastic. It was just so cool.
It was fun.
Oh,
It was fun.
goodness. Set 4.
Yeah.
Set 4. Crazy.
Yeah, no, I'm also interested to see how this meta shakes out. I will reserve judgment. I agree with everything that everybody here has said, and I also agree with what a lot of people in the Twitch chat have said about Bucky's oppressiveness and how it's not fun. And everybody pointing out Bucky is a 20-cent card. Yes, I know, but it doesn't change the fact that people build decks around it. And to walk into a store and all of a sudden find out the deck that you've spent the last couple of weeks getting cards in from TCG Player from now fundamentally changes in some way doesn't feel good. Yes, it's only a 20-cent card, I know,
Yes.
but still.
He was also the set 2. He was one of the set 2 league promo cards.
He was
Was.
one of the promo cards.
That's true.
They
And
were
the
really
promos
cool.
were
Promo
$5.
cards?
These guys right here, the promos,
Yeah.
the promos, right? Oh,
I got
gosh.
one in the cube.
I got 4 of them because I was like, he'll be playable at some
Yeah.
point, and I can
Yeah.
have a play set of promos.
There you go.
It's just-
I don't know.
yeah.
I will also reserve judgment after Atlanta though. Like I'm really interested to see how it
Chicago.
plays out. Chicago. Yep. Atlanta's happened. Chicago. And let's have this discussion again next
After
week.
Next
Chicago.
week.
Let's have it
Next week
Hey,
in ink.
Yeah, hey,
Yep.
you guys are
we'll
welcome
follow
to
up
hop
here.
on anytime you want.
Yeah, this is kind of a-
That's kind of the rule. Is like
This
once
is a
the
bar
Discord,
now.
you
We
come
made
in.
Lorcana After Dark kind of a bar situation where people just can hang out if they want to say
People just
hi.
show up.
And yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
what RMB just showed up not too long ago just to say hello. He disappeared. He just had his, it's a cool little thing. But yeah, if y'all ever want to say, yeah, y'all were right or we were so wrong, this deck went crazy and no one expected.
Oh,
Reality.
I'm wrong regularly. I'm not
Oh.
afraid to be wrong.
Yep.
That's the best thing though. But that's why we're on the internet. That's why we're just trying to bat 1,000 every time. But it's not gonna happen. Sometimes you just make bad takes. It's part of it. But like it's the fun part. Like I mean, no one saw Ice Block being good. None of y'all did it. I didn't.
I didn't.
No one saw that. Like everyone
No.
read that card was like, "This is trash. Throw it out." Like what? So like you never know. But that's the fun part. I think that's why I love doing what we're doing. It's just that like you say some stuff and sometimes it doesn't work out, and then you just say other stuff that works out, and you're like, "I'm the greatest of all
So
time."
smart.
I will say, my wife Miss Marbles did predict Lucky Dime being good when it first came out.
I did too. I grabbed a play set of dimes before they were
I remember
popular.
that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like
I was like, this will be a good card. It says tap and gain lore.
It says what?
tapping game.
Exert and gain lore.
Oh, can't
Yeah.
say those words, huh?
No.
Can't
Yeah,
say
it's a
vanilla
hard
either.
habit to break.
Yeah.
Can't say what?
Vanilla.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Evidently,
We're
it
not allowed
has
to
some
say- we're
undertones.
not supposed to say vanilla.
What are we supposed to
On
say for
stream.
non-effective cards?
Just no effects.
No effect.
Plain cards. I don't know.
Plain
Yeah.
cards. We love playing
This
cards.
card is plain.
Plain old. Interesting.
Yeah.
It's got nothing going on for it.
That's just a
No.
stat
It's normal
guy.
flavored Greek
Fucking-
yogurt.
Hey, it's delicious, by the way. Put some fruit in it. Yummy.
That's no longer
So good.
normal flavored.
That's true.
Put some granola in there. Just have a nice little breakfast. Delicious.
Yeah.
Delicious. What do breakfast?
Ah, Bucky. Well, that was like an hour on a squirrel.
Right?
But like that's kind of the big evil shadow looming before Chicago right now. Because the other decks are like, yeah, they're great, but like none of them is. It doesn't feel as terrifying to play against. Like,
And you know
I don't know. Huh?
Because they're fun to play against.
Yeah.
They feel like they can be beat.
The other
Yes,
three
at
decks
least.
feel
And you
like
actually
they can be
interact.
beat.
You get to actually play
Yeah.
the game with somebody rather
I
than
will
play
say,
your own
only in
board.
Yeah.
Lorcana are we afraid of a squirrel. Like we just like.
I don't know.
squirrel-
If you play Magic,
it's a
you're scared of
squirrel.
squirrels.
Yeah. Deranged hermit, squirrel mob, squirrel nest. Yeah.
I haven't.
That's true,
I
though.
was squirred by
Lucky.
squirrels before.
It
have
is
never
funny thought.
underestimated them.
This guy, this silly guy is making people really, really upset. The other thing that people were upset about was kind of fixed because of what Brandon and Jonty are doing.
Yes.
Oh, you want to
the
talk
death-
about something
Oh.
fantastic that
Yeah.
I'm actually going to talk about real quick before. I mean, you, but I have something really cool to do Thursday. We might just hang out there for the entirety of the show and play with people.
Heck yeah.
This might be
That's
one of those
awesome.
things to promote that amazing Discord. But last weekend we kind of mourned over something really, really sad. But
Yeah.
at the same day,
Day
y'all
after.
did something amazing. Y'all
Yeah,
announced
okay.
something
Yeah.
special. Could you please explain?
I can't explain. Before I do this though, I do want to give a shout out to Pavel and what he's continuing to do with Peanut Butter Connect. It's going to serve a role that I think a lot of people were primarily sad to lose with Peanut Butter in the competitive ranked ladder, being able to play against good players. Pavel's an extremely smart guy, and I'm excited to see what comes from it. Before we knew about that, and actually before Jonty and I knew about the Peanut Butter situation at all,
Mhm.
we started working on a Discord called Real Play Network, and the entire thesis of this Discord was to host a community of people that enjoy playing with their physical cards and just facilitate a place for people to play webcam games if they want. We recognize that there's a lot of people that don't have locals they can go to very easily. I'm one of those people, if I'm being honest. The closest
Mhm.
locals that actually fires to me is 45 minutes on a Tuesday evening after work. And like, I don't always feel like making that drive, and I always get home late. Yeah.
You
and
gotta
it's
watch the
like-
show too, so it's like one of those.
and
things
yeah,
that-
exactly. Well, exactly. Yeah, there's plenty of other stuff I could be tuning into as well, and I have to miss this show every time I go. So, and there's a lot of people that have it much worse than that. Over an hour. Some people have to drive to go to LGSs, and also, as much as I enjoy a digital client and see the benefits of it for the game and for especially playtesting and figuring out if cards are good before you actually buy the physical cards, I don't get to play with my physical cards all that often either. Like I get to play them at League when I show up once a week, and then if I show up to competitions, which there aren't that many around me either, then I play with them there. So it's another excuse to play with the actual cards that I've opened. But it's just a Discord that is full of people ready to play webcam games. Jonty and I have some really cool plans for events that we want to do. This week is Founders Week. So we went live with the Discord last week. I forget what day. And then we were honestly overwhelmed with the amount of people that have already joined. There's over 500
good.
members in the Discord already. There's plenty of people. I mean, there's been people playing games in the Discord constantly. I think there's people playing games currently, or there's people. I see that there's people in a voice chat at least.
Yes.
Breezy and Knive have both been super active, which has been awesome
Heck
to
yeah,
see.
I love that place. That
I was the very first flounder. Let's go.
first flounder ever.
First flounder.
It's just such a
Flounder
nice
number
environment.
Blub blub.
Blub blub.
Yeah, and so this week is Founders Week. If you get a webcam game in, you take a screenshot of it and post it in the channel that we have specifically for that, you'll get the founder role. And it's just a role that's a way to show our appreciation so that, you know, in hopefully a year when this Discord's still booming, you can wear that with pride and say, hey, I was here from the beginning. And just, you know, have a little bit of ownership over that. But we also have some fun events we're planning in the future. Since John T and I are both involved in Chicago and doing the casting for that, we've had to push some of this off a little bit, but we'd eventually like to run probably some small web game tournaments to start out. And then also like Knife showing there, we want to run like Illumiteers quest nights where people can jump into a webcam and, you know, you can team up with your buddies and have somebody play as Ursula. You know, hopefully we can provide you with some people that can play as Ursula and you can make friends there. I've already seen people tweeting about how it feels like they're like internet locals basically.
Yes.
They show up and
yes,
you get to actually talk with the person that you're playing with, and there's people already discussing decks. And I think Knive earlier did a like looking for games, or put in looking for games thing. It was like, hey, I need to run a gauntlet against this deck. Can somebody play this deck against me? And then you have somebody.
Emerald Steel in Real Play Network.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's awesome. And a lot of us don't have access to like a competitive team of players that can do that on the regular and reach out to somebody to run a gauntlet of some matches. And although you could do something similar in things like peanut butter just by like queuing up over and over again, sometimes it's really nice to have somebody that you can talk to, especially maybe somebody that you've interacted with before. Or even request specific people, say, hey, I'd love to get some games in. And then we just have a place that you can go do that. There's ways you can play in public rooms if you don't mind people watching your games. Those are really fun because people do like to watch. There's also private rooms that you can join if you and a buddy just want to get in there and you don't really want to be bothered by anybody else. There's things like that as well. We are absolutely encourage people to make webcam content if they want to in there. That's why I'm really excited, Breezy, about the news you just told me. I love seeing people stream in there to Twitch and YouTube or make videos. It's super awesome. And I'll be honest, I don't even care if you shout us out. I'm just excited to see.
I'm literally doing it because I love that place, and I'm gonna yell it as much as because like I play the one time I got the chance to do it was with Knive, and like I was more excited to like prepare and like sit down and just play a real paper than I usually do when I just get online just to play some games and shut down my computer. I felt like I was just hanging out with just friends.
Yeah,
like, it was just.
I
so
like the
cool.
voice chat element of it. It is kind of nice.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's something I've noticed over the past couple days hanging out in there. You'll get some people that start playing a game, you have 3 or 4 people join, and then you have people that recognize those people and, you know, have been talking regularly with them and then join. And you do get this group that sort of forms of people you enjoyed talking with every day or every other day, just jamming games. And so it's turning into something really awesome. I think it's filling a role in the community that hasn't really been there, to be honest. So I'm really excited, and I'm really excited, hopefully, for the future and what we can offer on more fun ways to get people involved in playing. I've noticed a couple people are a little shy at first to just ask a random person for a game, but honestly, the more and more that I see people just take that leap and decide to finally play something, they realize there's some really nice people that played this game, and we all are here to have a good time, and everybody's making friends, and it's just awesome over there.
It's the best.
And I will say, Frog in the chat has asked if proxies are okay. I don't like using the word proxies. Technically, in one of the documents somewhere that you can find on DisneyLorcana.com, they define what a test card is, which is essentially a like bulk card with Sharpie written over it on whatever card you want to test before you actually buy the card. And for Lorcana hobby stores, which we are not, but that's as official as it gets, those are allowed. So as far as we're concerned, if Ravensburger's okay with that, we're totally fine. we're totally fine with you using a test card to, test games before you decide to go buy $50 Diablos. Absolutely. They won't be allowed once we run tournaments. Of course, when we're doing tournaments, you need the real cards. The only thing that we request is that it's very
clear.
Yeah, very clear that it's not a real card, that you're not trying to imitate a Disney Lorcana card. But other than that, yeah, absolutely, it should be fine.
So we can't just draw like a Cusco and play with. Okay.
And I draw my own little art, like my own little bucket.
Yeah, that's alternate art, right? We can sign card type situation.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'll just Bucky. I'm a terrible artist.
Honestly, Infinite tokens are a fantastic resource.
What token?
Infinite tokens. It's a they're basically cards, but it's a whiteboard. So you can.
Gotcha.
So it's basically just a whiteboard card. Dry erase marker and such.
That'd be nice.
They're pretty cool.
But again, like the opportunity is just so convenient, so nice. It's something I'm really excited for. I love streaming the game, so now this is an option to do every once in a while. If let's say Knives is out, and I'm like, I want to just play the game, and now you offer that. Now that creates just more opportunities to just play and interact with the community as well. Like I was there, I hung out with like Caleb from Hakuna Lorcana. It was just one of those things. You just chat, build community as well. It's just such a nice space, and I cannot recommend it enough for anyone that's watching. It's just like. Like I said, I'm gonna be there for 2 hours on Thursday, just hanging out. So that's gonna be the Lorcana After Dark pre-Chicago for people to just kind of hang out in. So it's just one of those things where it's just so nice, and like y'all are, again, pillars of the community. Both of just
absolutely.
Like so nice.
Like I got to be there for U3 starts, and like seeing y'all where you are now. Like
so proud.
It feels like a family member just succeeding and doing their dreams. like honestly, like Brendan, I saw you start off like shooting your shot. Like, hey, I wanted to broadcast. I want to cast, and like I legit weeped when I saw your post.
We chatted when that happened.
I'm like, oh my word.
So, it's still surreal for me, to be honest. There's overwhelming imposter syndrome going on for me for this kind of stuff, and I certainly wouldn't be here if it weren't for the support of the community. So like I really just have everybody else to thank for lifting me up and watching my content and supporting me the whole way there.
Absolutely,
y'all making this community so proud. Just letting y'all know. It
is true though, and Brandon, you said that really well. Like anybody who makes content, the content doesn't matter. Like you can spend as long as you want on a video or on a stream or whatever, and it's nothing until somebody watches it. And then for you personally, it's still nothing until somebody tells you that they've seen something that you've done. And anybody who has succeeded in this space, us included, as Brandon said, has only done it, quote unquote, succeeded, I don't know, done anything, is only because, for anybody of the people watching our stuff and taking a moment and encouraging us and, letting other people know that, what's out there. And so, yeah, the imposter syndrome is real. And, to echo Brandon, can't thank everybody enough for the support, telling us what we're doing wrong so we can fix it, giving us constructive criticism. Because genuinely anybody in this space, I think everybody wants to get better and wants to be the best representatives of the community that we can be. So thank you to everybody for helping. I'm rambling now. Thank you everybody for helping us, get where we are and providing us that feedback, both positive and negative. And we really appreciate it.
So proud of y'all, man. Like, it's just, we like, I remember the day started and Nive and I texted each other like, we are so, like, this is incredible watching just the people we have the insane honor to just chat to, just doing the thing that they wanted to do and like accomplish and doing fantastic too, just kicking all the butt, like all 5 of y'all that did like the commentary and like the interview. It was fantastic, and it felt so professional considering it was the first event ever for this card game. Like, it felt like it had just been around for years, and you just tuned into one of the events and just felt so real. And it's only gonna get better. Y'all are studying the game and doing everything, and just so proud, man. Just so proud. This is so happy.
Did see an interesting question in the chat a while back. So this was like a while back. So Aaron, Liam, and Brennan, if you were playing in the DLC Chicago, what would you play? You're not on stream right now, so unless you're already under like contract stuff to not say.
What would I be playing?
What would you play?
Okay, after today, I would play Emerald Amethyst, and I would take it to the top 8 so I could argue with everybody on Twitter.
Hell yeah.
That is viable format.
It is
I saw
viable.
the tweet.
Principle.
I said I was sorry.
That's what I would do. No, your joke was actually pretty funny. The math answer. No, I'm tempted to play on principle Emerald Amethyst. That's the answer I'm going to stick with, just because I want to see that deck work in the format. I think if I was taking it super seriously though, and I was like, what deck do I want to take to the top? I think I would go Sapphire Steel, because I know the deck, I understand the deck. I refuse to play Emerald Steel, and so I would probably pick the deck best positioned, I think, against it. I think that's what I would go with if I really wanted to win, but I'm tempted to say on principle I would go in Emerald Amethyst.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know about the Cuscos though. I don't like Sisu against the Cuscos, but
yeah, it might get cut. The Sisu really ruins the Emperor.
For those who don't know, Liam posted a question of, hey, has anyone made a good Emerald Amethyst deck? And I just responded with, 20 cards that die to Sisu and the bounce package.
But you were the only one. I mean, you weren't the only one. There were several people who came in and they're like, this deck's not great. And I was like, let's just explore it. Artibax came in, and Artibax, probably like the expert on.
Yeah. I summoned him. I was like, bring him. Let him decide.
Yeah, you did. And he chimed in and said, I appreciated his answer the most, because he said it's not well positioned. And I like that answer. Meaning,
I love Artibax so much. He's so nice.
It was a very good answer. And because it does feel like a deck that is, I think it's viable, but I do think you're fighting an uphill battle and you have to know it very, very, very well. So I liked his answer, and then other people were like, this deck is dead. And I was like, that's not dead.
Yeah.
Let's bring it back.
That was definitely
Amber Amethyst won Atlanta. Okay, so like anything is possible, and everything is in the table.
True.
Or the betting odds on that, who knows?
Aaron, what would you play?
I mean, y'all know I'm not like super competitive, so I like playing Steel Song, and so I'd probably just play Steel Song. It's the deck I like to play.
We love a good Steel Song. We love a good
regardless of whether or not it's like in the meta or competitive or not. It's just
I love that though.
It's like what makes me happy, so
it's
I'll
a fun
play
deck.
it.
Right.
What about you, Brendan?
Solid.
Yeah, so I'm normally a Steel Song player. It's the one that I continue to go to. I haven't tested enough with it yet. The traditional versions that I've played between set 1 and set 3 don't seem very well positioned into this meta either.
No.
I have seen and heard whispers of a Mufasa version that like maybe has some legs.
Robofasa.
I haven't tested with that yet. But so I would have had tested with that before this. Other than that, though, I was leaning Sapphire Steel, similar to Liam. I for principle would not play Emerald Steel, and for some reason, all of the bones in my body just refuse to play like the best seeded deck going into a tournament. I don't.
I agree. I appreciate that.
I don't want to play Emerald Steel. I don't want to play Ruby Sapphire. I don't want to play Ruby Sapphire. I want to find the deck that beats them both and then play that. And and so
I don't want like a completely off meta deck. Like I'm not going to Bivens it. I'm not that good.
Bivens.
But
I like that's a verb now.
I want the deck that's like it's like not the top deck or maybe in the top, but the one that's like just hanging out.
The blue steels, the red fossas,
the steel fossas, the green fossas, the
green fossa. Shout out to that deck.
But yeah, so I'd take Sapphire Steel because I think it has game into Emerald Steel if you can ramp fast enough. And then I think with Ariel, the addition of Ariel and having Lucky Dime, it's just like sometimes if you can just get the Lucky Dime down and like you can finish the game fast enough before Ruby Sapphire gets going. But I'm already seeing Ruby players tech Tremaines and Be King Undisputeds to get around the Ariel. So that makes me a little sad. I was hoping they wouldn't get there before Chicago, because I'd love to see Sapphire still make a run. There's always a part of me as a caster and somebody who hasn't participated in one of these larger tournaments. There's a lot of like, I have my own thoughts and predictions on what to expect. And it's so comforting when those come true for my own sake, because I'm like, okay, I do know what I'm talking about. So
there's nothing like seeing, you know, Brendan like make a prediction, like my casting buddy, and like, you know, oh, this and this is probably setting up for this on turn 4, and then the next thing you know, boom, there it is, and it's like, yeah.
Okay. Makes you feel smart. It's awesome.
Only Bivens can Bivens. That's
only
true.
Bivens can Bivens.
Bivens is one of the most, like, I can't think of the word right now, but he's just so outside of the box when he brings stuff to a tournament. He's so comfortable deck building and finding the things that nobody else is thinking of. I still think about Jiminy Cricket, and when I saw that,
it's the brains and then like the confidence, right? Like, to be playing in, you know, who knows what'll happen, right? Like, you don't know, you know, something may happen. You can't go to any other Lorcana challenge. So maybe your only Lorcana challenge, perhaps. Yeah. And you're going to go in, you're going to be like, I'm going to, because that's the thing about like Zach Bivens or any of these other like amazing players. Like Zach could be competitive with almost any of the top decks in the meta. He's that good a player. He could take that deck and do very well. And there's a lot of people in the chat, you know, Brendan DeCandio, probably another one, could probably take any deck, you know, out of the players I've seen, Wonderland, any of these pros, and go to the top, or be very, very close to it. But then to say, you know what, I've got this idea, and I'm confident enough in my idea that nobody else is doing, at least not publicly, and I'm going to take my one shot and roll the dice on this one-off idea. Like,
and he called it like
crazy.
Like when he built that 60 card Amethyst Steel deck, he called the meta. He knew the weaknesses of each of the decks, and he built a deck that took advantage. And he was right, and so he called it, and that's what happened. And like, that is like the smartest thing. And honestly, I thought I was doing that with Ruby Amethyst, and then a bunch of other people had the same.
Well, it's a good deck, you know. It's just people figured it out. I remember Zach came on and he was like, "Yeah, everyone just gonna have to pick up the cricket card and read what it does, because like no one thought like it talks about Pinocchio. He didn't even run a Pinocchio in his deck list.
No,
it was just like one of those just it's such a cool little curveball to everyone else around him too."
I had to look it up. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh yeah,
I don't think you did, Brandon. I think you knew.
I knew what it was, because as soon as I saw it, I was like the cogs started turning now and the pieces started connecting. I saw what he was doing live and I was like, oh my gosh, this is genius. Like, yeah, you just play the evasive cricket on 2. Now your Pascal's evasive forever. Like, of course this works. Why haven't we seen this before?
Well, let's see if I can get it right this time. It's Jiminy Cricket, Pinocchio's Conscience, 2-cost Inkable, 1/2/1, evasive, Storyborn Mentor. Whenever he enters play, if you control a Pinocchio, you may draw a card.
I think that's right.
Something along those lines,
I think that's right.
I read it.
Like, oh my gosh, like you play a card like that, and then like someone else plays Fairy Godmother.
That's what I loved most about Atlanta, to be honest. As polarizing and as oppressive as this meta looks at first sight, I hope we see another run in Chicago like we did in Atlanta, where somebody just finds a card that nobody's paying attention to, or a couple cards, or an entire deck, and just absolutely makes a run really deep and just shakes up the meta, because it was so fun. I felt like it was the perfect end to set 3 as the most varied meta to date. And what Joshua did was just awesome. And then what was even funnier is as soon as Atlanta ended, we're already in set 4. So like that
Where's that
deck
deck?
did its
Yeah, where'd it
thing.
go?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That deck did its thing, and then it's gone. we didn't get to see the hype of everybody turning around and playing the deck to see if it has game and everything else.
Talk about a literal flash in the pan.
Yep.
Yeah,
Living. We're gonna be talking about it. Forever.
Yeah, in 10 years, you're going to be talking about
Do you remember that deck?
that deck
Yeah.
from Atlanta.
Remember that dog droppings deck from the dead format?
that was great.
Oh, that's true. That's what he called it. I forgot.
Because of
Yeah,
Vegeta.
dog droppings.
My goodness.
And it's such a weird spot too, because that deck had so many weird cards that like if it stayed for another week or two, those cards would have skyrocketed too.
Mhm.
Like Fairy Godmother would have been like a $15-$20 card because it won the
Mm.
Atlanta, but who cares? It's gone. You're not gonna try it
They're
anymore.
gone. Yeah.
It's just gone. So it was a weird one, but hey, I gotta be optimistic for Chicago. Y'all are gonna kill it. Y'all are gonna. It's gonna be so much fun. Now you're gonna be in day 2. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be fantastic. You're gonna
I
kick
just
all
want
the
to be on
butt.
camera. That's all I want. I'm not gonna make day 2.
Have you revealed what you're running? You still working that out?
I'm running Ruby Amethyst. That is what I am running. I've been tweaking it since day 1 of the set.
Mhm.
I think I have a good match. I know the deck better than most people do, so I'm good in the mirror. It destroys Ruby Sapphire. The way that I've built it, it's pretty good against Steel Sapphire, and I made it to where it's a pretty decent split against Bucky, so which I'm fine with. So I'm pretty confident with it. I think if a better player ran it and had my experience with it, I think they could go all the way. I'm just trying to keep myself realistic. That like I'll be content if I get like 30-ish points.
There you go.
Yeah.
No, you're gonna make day 2. It's fine. It's fine. You got this.
If I make day 2, I'm hyped. Like I'm
Yeah, we're gonna.
I'm gonna drop the biggest hype video ever, and
You better. You better.
I think that's the right approach. We were talking to Frank
Yeah.
Karsten yesterday, and he
You guys
talked about
talked to Frank?
expectations, and even he went into the tournament, in Lille, and he said, I wasn't expecting to win. I wasn't expecting to do well at all. I just kind of went in for laughs. And I know it's Frank Karsten, and we can all sit and roll our eyes, but still, he also
He's that way.
right. But he also said, he's like, look, we asked, what advice do you have for new players who are going into a competitive event and, maybe one of their first ones and, overriding advice. And correct me if I messed this up, Aaron. But he said one of the biggest things he said was, and it's common sense, but I think we don't think about it often, or we don't take this advice to heart, is don't think about the prizes. Don't think about where you are in the tournament. Don't think about your point totals. Don't think about any of that. He's like, just think about the next game. Like, enjoy the game, enjoy that round, enjoy that moment. And if you go into every round, just thinking about that game, not about your point totals, not about what you're going to win if you go on to the next round, like, you will feel good about that round. You will enjoy yourself. And before you know it, you'll be competing in like the top 64 or the top, whatever. But like, so now, if you go in with that, not saying that you should go in with, down on yourself, but if you go in with just the attitude that, I'm going to play a bunch of games, I'm going to have fun. Before you know it, you're going to end up in the top cut. And So did I get that right?
Like, I don't know which one I'd be more excited for. Like, if I got on the stream and got camera, because like, hey mom, look at me, and or actually making talk cut. I don't know which one I would be more excited for. I guess my real name would be announced if I was on stream.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It'll be all right. It'll be all
So
right.
it's a rule, I think,
Yeah.
right, Brennan?
I think so. I don't think, at least we were told not to say people's monikers, even though I did it for the entire
Walter.
Savage match because I was afraid.
Yeah.
I was afraid to get his name wrong. Wasn't sure how to pronounce it. And then also Walter his real name's not Walter. And so I kept slipping and saying Walter instead of Nate the entire match. But I don't think they caught it or we didn't get in trouble for it. So
Yeah. We didn't get fired.
no.
No.
They told us we did a good job and they hired us
I'll
again.
back.
So.
Yeah, y'all did so well.
It's because they couldn't get anyone else through Disney's permissions.
That you
We
might be
didn't pass
right.
the test.
like you joke, but
I'll
that
take
genuinely
it,
might
yeah.
just be the reason. Yeah.
We didn't
Yeah.
pass the test, so
we weren't even allowed to come in.
yeah, we didn't
take
even
the
make it to
test.
the final interviews. They just saw him with the banner I have on my Twitter, and they're like, yeah, no, not that guy. So, but oh my god, but y'all, thank you so much for being on the show. This was fantastic, and like, I can't thank y'all enough for just hopping on, chatting. Appreciate it so much. Like y'all are inspirations of why this show exists.
Mm-hmm.
I've been saying this
Absolutely.
for the beginning of the show now, but like without what you guys have been doing in the community, this place doesn't exist. So I'm thankful for what y'all do for everyone in this community, and I can't wait to watch you guys do amazing things in the future and kill it in Chicago. And yeah, thank you so much for being on there. And it's an honor to be able to call you guys my friend. So I
Yeah,
appreciate you so much.
absolutely. That's like the best thing that has come out of all of this. Forget about the casting, forget about the YouTube channel, forget about all of it. Genuinely, and this is so cheesy, but like the people that I met along, like the friends I made along the way. I mean,
The One Piece.
like there are people that I would consider best friends, like lifelong friends, including the people here. And I wouldn't have met any of you if it weren't for Lorcana. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
So true.
yeah, is it about time to send everyone out, White Breezy?
It is. I can't have y'all here for all night as much as I would love to. Y'all had lives out of here, so I will let y'all out into the moonlight. But before I do, I do have to get y'all a little sace to the chat. I will start with the Illumiteers right here. First of all, thank you so much for being on the show. Again, honor. I can't wait to be more in your Mondays, Illumiteers. Just can't wait to talk with y'all in your show. I can't wait to do that. Can't wait to see what y'all got planned. Can't wait to see y'all do more Lorecast. Can't wait to see y'all do more events. So excited to see what y'all have in store. New camera. Y'all gonna look so crisp. It's so exciting. Gonna look beautiful. But before I do let you out into the moonlight, because there ain't no sunshine where we are, I would like to have y'all say whatever y'all want to say to the chat, whoever's watching, and then y'all can peace out of here.
Go ahead.
You start.
Oh, I mean, just thanks for having us, Breezy. It's been a real honor, and we're so grateful to get to be a part of this community. And yeah, if y'all haven't had an opportunity to check us out on YouTube, you can follow us at Illumiteers. We host a Monday night live stream right before Brandon's live stream. So come hang out with us on Monday nights at 8 p.m. 8 p.m. Atlantic. What is that called? Eastern time.
Eastern
There you go.
You all are my favorite people. I love hanging out with all of you so much. Breezy, you still owe me a kiss on the forehead, and I also have to say, I have to give a premature public thank you. The only reason I can cast, sorry, I know this is taking longer than you wanted. The only reason I can cast both in Atlanta and this weekend is because Aaron is watching my daughter all weekend long and doing solo parenting to allow me to do the casting. So big public shout out. Aaron is a huge part of that team that's making this happen. So thank you. Aaron, and
the best.
yeah.
Well, Elena, I don't think she's ever met Breezy or Knive, but she does love Mr. Brandon for sure. And so
I love her
him a
too.
bucket hat and everything.
It's true.
Yeah.
Aw.
Yeah.
But y'all thanks.
Well,
I
y'all have a
need to
wonderful
meet her.
night.
I need to.
Thank you so much.
Yes, you do.
She is precious.
I might come down to Fort Worth just to see her.
We'll be
Oh,
there.
y'all are there, so it's
Knive, you were one of the first people to know she existed. So
I know.
It's true.
I know.
we're taking up a lot of y'all's time. But
Oh no! This is an all night thing. I don't want to take you guys' time. That's the thing. Y'all are busy. people.
I'd sit here all night.
Brandon, don't do that.
I
Don't
have
touch
fun.
it. We will be here chatting about everything, and it'll be a great time. We won't sleep. We'll regret all of our decisions. But
never
don't tempt
regret.
us. Don't
Never
tempt us.
regret.
No regrets. No regrets. We live in no regrets. I drink out of shoes. Come on. We live no regrets.
Well, you haven't done that recently.
I haven't done it because Brandon DeCandio kind of science and medicaled me out of like scaring me into it.
I've
Even though,
never
like-
seen fear struck into your eyes
So
like
quickly.
Britton did.
Yeah, see, I bought a glass one. Fun fact. Like now we have the Das boot actually coming in the mail. So we'll. Yeah,
Wonder saying bucket hat shots. I was so ready in Atlanta if I met you for you to do a shoey, and I was gonna take a bucket hat and do like a shoey, but with the bucket hat.
So-
and
What's that called?
I don't know.
You can't throw a shoey out
It's a
there and then
bucky.
not have
It's
a
a
name. For the...
bucky. It's a bucky.
We can't call it a bucky. I don't want that to be
It's
associated.
but it's
with
a
now.
bucky. Like
positive.
it's
It's
a
a
bucky.
bucky.
It's a shoey and it's a bucky. It's just
A
I
hattie.
can't-
There we go. I like the hattie better.
But
'cause
it's
then
not-
it's more versatile.
We
But
need
it's
a
a
And
bucket
bucket,
hat.
It doesn't
a
have to be
bucky bucket hat. Why have we not thought of that yet?
Because that's
a bucky
evil.
bucket.
Bucket hats are supposed to be
Oh.
positive, not toxic.
But if we send it to you as a gift, you have to wear it. It's a gift. You have to.
I have worn the Austin one that you sent me. So
You
Yeah,
did
Austin
wear that
FC
to a
did
challenge.
well.
That's true.
I did, and I think I won the challenge.
You did. You
or
said you
something.
did.
I don't know.
Yep.
Yeah.
No big deal.
Bucket hats
It's
work.
scientifically proven that if you wear a bucket hat, you do top at least, or at least get
Yeah.
a stitch. More, yeah.
Yeah.
So just scientifically proven. So if you're going to Chicago, consider putting
Maybe
that
consider
into...
it. There were a lack of bucket hats in Atlanta, by the way.
Boo.
A lot of people would shout out bucket hat when I would run by, but I saw less of them than I was expecting to see. I'm not gonna lie.
You need to tweet that out. You need to be like, we need these numbers up because it's a problem.
If I could, I would. I
I mean,
promise.
That's the
can't-
thing I hear from a bunch of people. Everyone's like, my head's too big.
I
to fit a
actually
bucket hat.
have literal nerve damage to my neck.
Oh,
Some
wow.
knife lore there.
Some knife lore.
No hats?
No hats. This kind of gets me sometimes. It's kind of crazy.
Oh,
Wow.
interesting.
I don't look good in hats. I can't.
Liam, nobody
Everyone.
looks good in a bucket hat.
I
You
disagree.
just
Everyone
have
else
to wear it
agrees.
with confidence.
Fantastic in a
You
You
bucket
just
hat.
have to.
You
I look
fantastic.
so silly. It's just the confidence.
You
I just
look
wear it and do
fantastic.
not care. And everybody thinks it looks good because I just rock it.
No, it just
I-
looks great. It
It
just
I guess
looks
I
looks
just-
good.
I just lack the confidence, I suppose.
You wore a pink suit coat.
Yeah,
It
you
looks
You can wear,
so
you can wear a
good.
pink jacket.
You
You
look
can wear a
so
pink
sharp.
jacket. You can wear a bucket hat.
Here's a question: do I sustain the pink jacket? Because I was worried. Is that a sustain for Chicago?
You gotta
do
look
it,
Like
bro.
as in do it again?
Yeah.
Different events though.
I
You
think
gotta-
you should
Absolutely.
I say
make
different
it a
You can
thing.
wear
Make
the
it
darker
iconic.
one too. He has a darker
Ooh.
pink.
There. Okay, so we gotta
Ooh.
You
change
just go
because
full pink.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
and then
say
he's got a
definitely-
blue with
'cause you're
pink
a summer, aren't you?
pinstripes.
Say again?
ooh, that's so.
You're a summer.
My summer?
Yeah.
Your skin tone.
Oh,
I don't know.
If you can wear pink and it works probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh yeah, probably.
I think you're a summer.
I should-
maybe
I should have come
spring.
prepared with all my wardrobe options and had the chat here vote on what.
Yo, that would have been a legit.
Sure.
and
I
that
still
would've
haven't-
been Nightmarish.
I still haven't submitted
Yeah.
mine.
I need to
you
do that
didn't
too,
need to
Brandon.
do
I'm
that.
I have not done that yet. But I took my jacket to the dry cleaner today because I was like,
I picked mine up from the dry cleaner today.
Ooh,
you're so
we're getting ready.
far ahead of
Ready.
me. You're getting all the inside scoop.
That's because I only have two, so they're so they have to be dry cleaned in advance.
Mm-hmm.
But
I legit googled pink suit jackets. Oh, thank you, Remy. Yeah, all right. Pink suit jacket is a sustain. Maybe I'll make the
Yeah.
marin one. That'll be the other one.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh,
Y'all
yeah,
are being
that
the
sounds
Stitch
good.
Poos, I'm assuming as well. That's kind of.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, you
Yeah.
got
Not
it. Those
leaving.
were the cutest things. Like I saw
Stitch is
those
them,
making
so
an
awesome.
appearance.
and I'm like,
This was a gift from the production team.
It's true.
Oh,
awesome.
what?
Yeah.
It's funny. We made the joke because at first we were gonna put them on, and then like we decided we are like, no, what we need to do is do half the day without them, and then like at a really inconspicuous time, like like if we go to a graphic, like a map, and then we come back, we have them on and just don't say anything about them.
yes.
Just
I
like,
don't
no,
acknowledge it.
Oh yeah, and the chat went wild. Like the chat loved it.
They were, yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was fun.
big fans of the shoulder friends. Is it? They're not the magnetized, are they? Just the.
No, they
No, they're
clip.
like little clips.
Oh,
they're like-
gotcha.
Yeah.
The magnet ones, like the ones that have Disney with like Groot.
Mm-hmm.
Elite
Yeah.
Remy on top of your head. Fun stuff. But can't wait. Can't wait to see y'all do your thing. Just so excited overall. And probably wait, are y'all doing Texas?
I'm going to Fort Worth. I don't know if. who
Well, I'll
knows if
be
we'll
there.
cast it.
We have tickets to Fort Worth. That's all we.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
So
all
we
you
will be at
said.
Fort Worth.
I have
Oh,
tickets
okay.
to compete. If I'm not
Yes.
casting, I'll be competing.
Oh well, yeah. Just overall, outgoing is my big because like
Yes.
you know
Yes.
some llama
We
might show
will be
up there.
there.
We don't know yet. I'm not saying anything anymore because last time I did, I almost died, so we can't really.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't.
Are
Yeah,
you
let's not do that again.
planning to be in Chicago?
We can't
I am
say-
not
if
saying
he
yes
says
or
he
no.
does, he's going to go to the hospital. That's how.
No,
this
I'm not
works.
asking. I'm not asking if you're going to be in Chicago. I'm asking if you're planning to be in Chicago.
To go to all the DLCs, but will it happen? I'm
Okay,
not too sure.
okay.
This one's more of a I have other plans kind of situation.
Okay, okay.
But the other one, I'm not saying anything because last time I did, I was so excited I almost died. So I
yeah,
can't
we don't
really
want
do
that
it.
again.
Yeah, let's
Yeah,
not
let's
not
not.
die.
That's
I'm
not
glad
fun.
we're glad you were excited. We're not glad that you nearly died.
I took that as both, but I survived despite that reason. That was just motivation. But ladies and gentlemen, this has been a fantastic episode of Lorcana After Dark. You know what? We're just gonna sign off altogether instead of
let's
sending
just
y'all
sign
off.
off
I've
altogether.
changed my mind. The show
Wait.
has no official. Usually, I send people. I was like, nah, we're not doing that. We're gonna end it all together. Before we do, I do want to say thank you to everyone that followed real quick because there's so much that has happened over the time. TC Giraffe, thank you so much for the follow. Frog FTK, Chew Street, D Claw, Corey, Shadow X, Psych Eval. That's what I need. Illumiteers, thank you for the bits. Weo and Remy Lebao 2. Thank you so much, everyone, for the follow. We officially hit 800 followers on Twitch, by the way. Thank you, everyone that has hit that follow
Awesome.
button. And we'll be back on Thursday on where are we meeting? Well, what's the Discord again? I'm so sorry, I
Real
forgot
Play
the name.
Network.
Real Play Network.
Post the
Yep.
link.
I will
I-
not
can
be
I post the
there.
link in chat?
Of
Post the link in chat.
That's you should probably because I forgot the link as well, so you need to do it for my that's
There you go.
oh there you go. So you can click on that, join the link, and maybe play a game or two on stream. I know what I'm playing. I gotta sleeve it up though, and it'll be a good time. What?
I'm clicking on the link so the chat
Clicking
can
the
see me
link.
click on the link.
Oh, okay, yeah. See,
Like,
that's
it's
that's what chat's doing right now. Everyone's click on it, and then they forgot the stream exists, so now everyone's gone. But again, YouTube, thank you three, 4. I get well. There's 3 boxes, 2 guest spots, 3. There's 3 boxes. I'm gonna say, yeah. Thank you for hanging out with me, and thank you everyone that's watching. And yeah, we'll be back on Thursday playing on the network. We'll be hanging out. And until then, we'll see y'all next time. Have a wonderful night. Boom, baby.
Bye. And that's a wrap on the YouTubes.
Yay! Yeah.
Well, thank you
y'all,
so much.
Thank you